Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto was Sorcerer Wizard Harry Potter. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by ZAMANFARHAN 2002 and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Chapter 1. Humble, if not crazy beginnings. Have you ever had a day where your life sucked at one moment but then all of a sudden it gets either better or worse? Yup, that's what happened to me, so here we go. My name is Naruto Uzumaki and I'm going to tell you how I went from being a pariah of my own village, Konoha, to being sent to another world, all the while making new allies and discovering a new purpose for myself. But before I go over the details about me being sent to another world, let me start from the beginning. Flashback. It was around the day of graduation, where all students of Konoha's Ninja Academy take their exams to earn their headbands and become shinobi. Many of the students have passed, however, only one such student has failed the exam 3 times, and that student is Naruto Uzumaki. After being told of his failure due to his mediocre use of the clone jutsu, Naruto was about to head home when all of a sudden multiple voices were shouting his name. Naruto looks only to see a mob that wants his head for something he didn't have any part in. Keep in mind that Naruto doesn't know that he is the Nine Tails Jinchuriki. Naruto panics and fearing for his life, he runs as fast as he can, even going as far as to escape the village. But it seems luck wasn't on his side this time, as he is pushed to the ground being beaten up and ravaged by multiple villagers and shinobi alike. As Naruto hangs on to his life, he asks why. Why do you always assault me for something I have never done? Most of the villagers and shinobi laughed at him, and one of them responded to him by saying that they are here to finish what the 4th Hokage should have started. Those words, those damn words Naruto keeps hearing, it makes him tired, if not pissed off, given that he doesn't know why they say that to him. For once in his life, Naruto starts to feel pure hatred towards the villagers as they watch and laugh at him bleeding to the ground, as if he were some beast in a cage. As they all laugh, Naruto starts to feel a strong power in him, almost as if he is ready to be free after years of repression, due to the mask he puts on the outside. While all that is happening, the Nine Tails watches and thinks to himself about how this is starting to really annoy him, when all of a sudden the Nine Tails also does feel the same power. What the hell is going on here? The Nine Tails said calmly, as even he doesn't know what is going on with his jailer. When the villagers were about to finish the blow on Naruto, they were all sent away forcefully by this unknown power that was released from Naruto, causing lots of damage on both the villagers and the environment. Naruto gets up only to see the villagers that hurt him to be either dead or close to being dead. Horrified by what he has done, the only thing he could do was run, and so he did, not knowing that the 3rd Hokage was watching the event unfold the whole time, while sending his Anbu to get Naruto back to the village safely. Unfortunately, by the time the Anbu arrived at the scene, it was already too late as the damage was already done and Naruto had already disappeared. Naruto runs as fast as he can, only to fall off a cliff due to him not focusing on where he was going. As Naruto falls, he thinks to himself saying that maybe this isn't too bad, maybe I can finally see my parents for the first time, at least the suffering will all end. Fortunately, fate has other plans for him. End of flashback. Hokage's office. The 3rd Hokage, Hiruzen, thinks to himself sadly about Naruto's disappearance. He loved the boy and thought of him as if he were his surrogate grandson, and yet he failed Naruto along with his dead parents. Minato Kushina, I have failed you, the 3rd Hokage says sadly. He spent many days and weeks having his Anbu try to find Naruto, only for them to come back empty-handed. Naruto, I hope that wherever you are at least safe. Otherwise this will be another one of my greatest failures, Hiruzen thought. Meanwhile, in another plane of existence, Hagoromo Otsutsuki, the Sage of 6 Paths, watches all the events unfold and is disappointed by how humanity has been after his death. He thinks to himself especially about how the villagers have treated the tailed beasts and their Jinchuriki, but there was one in particular that he was most interested in. That boy, Naruto Uzumaki, has faced a harsh life being the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails and in the end has been taken from this world far too early, Hagoromo thought. However, Hagoromo believed otherwise, as his thoughts were that Naruto deserves a second chance in life, for there is a crisis on another world with a child who too will face a similar prophecy like Naruto, as that world will need all the help it can get. I believe it is time we meet Naruto. So, with all of his chakra, Hagoromo manages to save Naruto from meeting certain death and instead sends Naruto to meet the Sage of 6 Paths himself. Naruto wakes up only to find himself in a void of darkness. He thinks to himself about where he is when all of a sudden he comes face to face with the Sage of 6 Paths himself. Hagoromo studies Naruto for a minute and the only thing he says to Naruto is this. So, you're awake. Looks like death is not your fate just yet. Who are you? Naruto asks as he looks at the Sage of 6 Paths, not knowing who or what he is. Hagoromo chuckles to himself, given how Naruto reminds him of his own son, Ashura, just from his behavior and such. I'm known by many names such as the Sage of Six Paths and the Father of all Shinobi, but my name is Hagoromo Otsutsuki, said the Sage of Six Paths. Well then, my name is Naruto was about to respond when Hagoromo interrupted with I know who you're boy, I've been watching you for quite some time said Hagoromo. Naruto, dumbfounded by this revelation, was about to ask about how the sage knows who he is, when all of a sudden Hagoromo got straight to business and said. I'm sure you may have lots of questions to ask, but I believe it's time we discuss your predicament. Chapter 2. Being sent to another world. Predicament. What predicament? Asked Naruto. Hagoromo thinks for a moment on how to respond to the boy without frightening him as much, but he believes the boy needs to know what he's about to learn. Naruto, I'm afraid that you have been pronounced dead or missing from your own world said Hagoromo. Naruto, looking shocked, yells out wait I'm dead. Hagoromo nods in affirmation. But that revelation Naruto can only look sad because there's nothing he can do to reverse the situation, but there's something that is bothering him. Hey, I gotta ask you a question, what was that power I just released accidentally on the villagers? Asked Naruto. Hagoromo responds, that power you released is accidental magic I believe. Accidental magic? Are you saying that I have magical powers? Naruto asked. Hagoromo nods in affirmation, yes my boy, you have awakened your magical core due to all the repressed anger you have held your whole life being released due to the situation you were in. Naruto looked surprised and was about to do some victory pose when he had to ask, wait are there people also like me? People with a magical core like yours are rare in your previous world, so I'm afraid that you may be the only one to be known to have this power Hagoromo responded. Naruto after hearing this felt rather gloomy, considering that he's the only one to have this ability. However, Hagoromo managed to uplift Naruto's spirits with what he is about to say. But there's another world where people have similar powers such as yourself. Wait really? There's a world where I can meet people with the same abilities? Naruto asked. Yes, and that is where I'm planning to send you to, Hagoromo responded. Why? Why would you do this for me? Naruto asked. The Sage of Six Paths responded. Because I believe you deserve a second shot at life after being treated like a plague your whole entire life, and I also believe your potential could be fully realized if taught properly. Naruto thinks to himself for a moment and ultimately he accepts as he believes that if the villagers who have wronged him his whole life won't accept him as a person, then he should find the people who would accept him. Before he could go any further he thinks about the people who at least didn't hate him. Old Man Third Hokage, Iruka-sensei, Big Sis Am, Tucci, I wish things didn't have to come to this, but I believe in order for me to find my place in life, I have to move forward and never look back, even if it means I'm going back on my word thought Naruto. So Naruto nods in affirmation to the sage about his acceptance to be sent to the new world. Hagoromo smiles and starts the process, but there is one thing left. Before we begin, Naruto, there is one thing I must do Hagoromo responds. What is it? Naruto asked before he was rendered unconscious. In Naruto's mindscape. Hagoromo explores Naruto's mindscape, which appears to be a sewer of some kind, with multiple paths, as if it were a labyrinth leading to somewhere sinister. As Hagoromo explores the mindscape of Naruto, he finds who he's looking for. As the Nine Tails wakes up, he comes across a ghost from his past. Father! Exclaimed the Nine Tails. Hello Kurama, how are things with you? Hagoromo responded, smiling at the Nine Tails, now known as Kurama. How are you still alive? But other than that it's great to see you again. Exclaimed Kurama. Hagoromo chuckled, still remembering how Kurama was when he was only a little fox pup. Now I'm sure that you may have lots of questions for me, but I'm afraid I only have a limited amount of time, so I need you to listen to me responded Hagoromo seriously. What is it I should know? Kurama asked. Hagoromo responded. I need you to take care of Naruto, help him with his journey to the new world, please. Kurama scoffed with bitterness, why should I help my pathetic excuse of a jailer? You know how much I loathe humanity after I was forced to be jailed inside Mido, so once again I ask why. Kurama responded rather annoyed. Because I believe Naruto will be different. I sense that he will be the one to help usher an era of peace, and not only that, I believe he can change people to become better than what they're, so once again I ask will you help him? Hagoromo asked. Ugh fine I'll help that brat out Kurama begrudgingly agreed. Hagoromo smiled and responded with this. Thank you Kurama, you truly are kind. Back in the other plane of existence. Ugh I feel like I got ran over by a herd of bulls, Naruto responded after waking up from that knockout. Hagoromo chuckled, my apologies, I had to take care of something regarding your problem, so anyways I believe it's time for your new journey to begin Hagoromo responded. So Hagoromo opens the portal, which begs the question as to where it leads. As Naruto gets up and is about to enter the portal, he does one final thing. Thank you Hagoromo for giving me this new chance at life, I promise I won't waste it, believe it. Naruto responded smiling when in actuality it looks like he's holding back his tears. Hagoromo smiles nodding in agreement and so Naruto goes to the portal. Good luck Naruto, that world will really need your help, Hagoromo responds to himself as Naruto enters the portal. Inside the portal. Naruto didn't expect much in the portal, but it seems the portal is much more than an entrance. As such, instead of expecting a nice and quick entrance to the new world, Naruto is falling down a gauntlet of fragments showing vague images of other worlds. However, Naruto did manage to find certain fragments that hint at different universes, with one being where he did become the Hokage, one where he led an army of wide-armored men while wielding a laser sword, one where he's perched on a rooftop watching over an unknown city in the night, dressed as some winged creature, etc. Naruto is screaming, fearing for his life, as he is falling down the fragments of the multiverse, but luckily it is over as a portal opens, which will lead him to the new world. The new world. It was a bright sunny day in the month of July, somewhere in Scotland lies a castle overlooking a lake. On the outside, the castle may appear to be in ruins, but in actuality, the castle is perfectly fine, as it has been made to be a secret to prevent any outsiders trespassing on the grounds. Inside the castle, an old man dressed in a strange robe is walking the castle grounds with an old woman wearing a pointy hat by his side. It sure is a lovely day isn't it Minerva said the old man. Indeed it is Alba said the old woman now known as Minerva. The old man, Albus, smiled and was about to say more when he noticed something strange up in the sky. The portal opens, showing Naruto falling down. Ah! Naruto screams as he is about to fall down. Albus watches what is going on in the sky as he notices Naruto falling down. Rushing quickly, Albus enkins a spell to save Naruto from plummeting to death, Wingardium Leviosa Albus said as he conjured the spell to help Naruto to get down safely. As such, Naruto is let down safely, but it seems due to what happened, Naruto passed out. Both Albus and Minerva check up on the boy, and Minerva can only ask this. Who is this boy Albus? Better yet how did he manage to get here? Albus only responds with I don't know Minerva, and as much as I want to know as well, I believe we should get the boy to a bed and let him rest up, then we can ask him questions. Chapter 3. Meeting people like me. Ah that was a weird dream Naruto states as he wakes up only to find himself laying at a bed in an unfamiliar location of what appears to be an infirmary. Wait, where the heck am I? Naruto exclaims as he looks around frantically as an old man walks inside the room. Ah I see you have woken up the old man states rather amused. Naruto looks at the old man, observing his appearance just by the way he is dressed strangely, and asks who are you and where am I? The old man smiled and responded with this. Allow me to answer that. My name is Albus Dumbledore, headmaster of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, and where you are is the school itself. Now I believe I must ask who are you? Dumbledore asked. Well my name is Naruto Uzumaki nice to meet you. Naruto responded rather excitedly. Dumbledore smiled and responded. The pleasure is all mine, but now I must ask how you found yourself to be in this castle. Naruto, unsure how to answer, decided to respond with this. Well all I can remember is that I was running away from a lot of people from my village, I was caught and tortured by the villagers, and I only escaped through the use of some mysterious power, and so I ran only to fall into a mysterious portal, and I somehow landed here. Dumbledore thinks to himself for a moment about Naruto's story of how he fell inside that portal and managed to enter Hogwarts. Your story seems rather interesting, perhaps you would allow me to search your memories to see what really happened? Dumbledore asked. Are you sure? Naruto asked rather nervously. Yes, so that way I can know what truly happened for you to be sent here, Dumbledore responded. Naruto nodded in agreement and allowed Dumbledore to do the process, in which he took Naruto's memory and placed it in a pensieve to see the events of what transpired. After viewing Naruto's memories, Dumbledore only had a sad look in his face. Given that he has seen everything, Dumbledore could only believe that Naruto truly needed to be here, for he is the same as that boy. Naruto, after viewing your memories, I have decided to take you in as a student in Hogwarts, should you choose to accept, Dumbledore said. Naruto, dumbfounded by how Dumbledore believed him, can only nod in agreement. Dumbledore smiled and said excellent, now then as I go to my chambers to process your registration, I will have someone to take you to get your school supplies, for you will need everything here on this letter. Dumbledore handed Naruto a letter that mentions all the things required such as robes, textbooks for first-year students, a wand, etc. Ah, here comes Hagrid, he will be the one to take you to get your school supplies, Dumbledore said as he points to a giant bearded man who has just arrived to talk with Dumbledore regarding something. Hello Professor Dumbledore, you called? Asked the giant man known as Hagrid. Why yes Hagrid, I called because I need your help over something Dumbledore requested. Well what is it? Hagrid asked. Hagrid, I need you to take this boy to Diagon Alley to get his supplies for he is a new student who will attend Hogwarts and it is his first year for him, Dumbledore stated. Why certainly, anything for you Professor Dumbledore sir, the bearded giant stated. Dumbledore smiled and nodded, alright then, I'm off to register the boy to attend this school. Get acquainted with each other, Dumbledore said as he left for his office. Hagrid turned to the boy and introduced himself, hello there young man. My name is Rubius Hagrid, but call me Hagrid, so what's your name? Hagrid asked. Naruto introduced himself, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. Nice to meet you Naruto, now then before we get your school supplies, first we have to pick up someone else who will also attend the school with you as well. Naruto nodded and the two headed to Hagrid's flying motorcycle to find the other person who will also attend Hogwarts as well. Meanwhile in Dumbledore's office. Inside Dumbledore's office, Dumbledore and two other professors are currently viewing Naruto's memories in the pensive. Dumbledore may have already seen Naruto's memories, but the other two professors have different reactions to those memories. The old woman, Minerva McGonagall, was shocked and if not looked quite pale after viewing the boy's memories, whereas a sallow-skinned greasy-haired man wearing all black robes looked rather neutral if not emotionless after viewing the boy's memories. McGonagall can only ask Dumbledore Albus, is it wise to have this boy attend our school, let alone be around the students in the same year as him? Dumbledore responded, why yes, I believe he hasn't done any harm to anyone let alone a few pranks, and the way I see it, he could surely need a new change of scenery with what he has experienced in his childhood. Now how about you Severus? Dumbledore asked the greasy-haired man known as Severus. Severus responded with while I find it strange that the boy came from another world, as long as he doesn't get in my way and mess around like a fool, then I have no problem with him attending. With the two professors' different viewpoints of the subject matter, they all agree to allow Naruto to attend Hogwarts. Meanwhile on an isolated island. Naruto and Hagrid have just arrived on an island to find a person they are looking for. Alright Naruto stay here, let me get this person and then we can head on over to Diagon Alley, Hagrid stated as he got off of his motorbike, holding a pink box with what appears to be a cake inside. Naruto nodded and waited for what appears to be about 10 minutes or so, albeit there was some shouting and screaming in the hut, along with the sound of a gunshot, on this isolated island. Hagrid came out of the hut along with a boy about Naruto's age, give or take, who appears to have black messy hair, glasses, green eyes, and a scar shaped like a lightning bolt in his forehead. As the boy got on the motorcycle, Hagrid announced, alright you two. We're going to head on to get your supplies, so hold on tight. Naruto introduces himself to the boy with glasses, hi there, my name's Naruto Uzumaki, what's your name? As Naruto held out his hand. The boy shook Naruto's hand and responded with Harry Potter. And so, the motorbike flew off to the night in unimaginable speeds heading to the required destination. London about the morning hours or so. As the two young wizards sit in the flying motorbike, they watch the clouds and soon find themselves viewing the London skyline. Naruto and Harry were excited to see the view, albeit Naruto was more so excited, given that it's his first time seeing a new world with all of its uniqueness and so much so. Naruto thinks to himself, man the view is way better here than back home. The Leaky Cauldron. The two young wizards and the giant man arrive at a pub in London, and as they enter the pub, it was silent as everyone looked at the two wizards, albeit they were more so looking at Harry much to the two young wizards' confusion. Then all the people in the pub cried in joy as they greeted Harry Potter like some sort of hero. Naruto was confused at first, but then later learned from Hagrid that Harry was considered a legend that defeated some dark wizard as a baby. After all the greetings, the three arrive at a back room that was empty only showing a wall. Really? An empty room? Naruto said blankly. Hagrid smirked and said looks can be deceiving as he tapped on the bricks with his umbrella. Soon the bricks opened, revealing a door and much to the shock of the two young wizards the door reveals a location with many shops and people in the streets. Awesome. Both Harry and Naruto exclaimed. Welcome to Diagon Alley. Diagon Alley. The three walk the streets of Diagon Alley and as they walk around Naruto and Harry's eyes are filled in wonder and excitement as they see unique shops and people around. Man this place is amazing right? Naruto said excitedly. Harry, agreeing with what Naruto said, replied I know right. There's so many things we can do. But here's the thing, how are we going to pay for all this? We don't have the money as Harry pulled out his letter showing the required school supplies. Hagrid chuckled at the two and said, now, you two, before you get excited, first we need to head to Gringotts to get your money. Gringotts? Naruto asked. Gringotts, the Wizarding Bank, ain't no safer place, not one well except for Hogwarts of course Hagrid states as he points to a bank of the same name. Now don't worry about the payments Hagrid said to Naruto, Dumbledore gave me access to his vault as Hagrid pulled out a key from his pocket. Naruto, looking excited, nods at Hagrid and tells Harry come on then, off to the bank as he runs to the bank, with Harry following him. And now hold on you two wait for me. Hagrid yelled as he chased the two young wizards. Chapter 4. The wand chooses the wizard. Ringot's Wizarding Bank. The three entered the bank, and as they entered the bank, both Naruto and Harry were surprised by the people, or rather creatures, that work there. Hagrid, what are they exactly?" Harry asked, while Naruto nodded, wanting to know as well. "They're goblins, well, clever as they come, they aren't the most friendly of creatures, best stay close, you two," Hagrid warned, as the three walked up to a desk with a goblin writing in a record book with a feather. "Ahem," Hagrid said, as he got the goblin's attention. "Mr. Harry Potter would like to make a withdrawal from his account, well, Mr. Uzumaki here will be borrowing a bit from Dumbledore," Hagrid said to the goblin. The goblin observed the two young wizards and asked, "Do they have their keys?" Harry and Naruto were nervous at first, but luckily Hagrid managed to pull out 2 keys and letters from his pocket. However, one of the letters appears to be stamped and has the words "Top Secret," and Hagrid mentions to the goblin, "It's about you know what in vault you know which," surprising the goblin. "Very well, follow me," then the goblin said to the three. Ringot vaults. The three, along with an employee named Griphook, rode the cart into the vaults and made 3 stops, with the first being Harry's vault. When they made the first stop, as the vault opened, the two young wizards were surprised by how loaded Harry was. "Didn't think your parents would leave you with nothing now, did you?" Hagrid said to Harry. Naruto felt a little bit jealous at Harry, since even though they both lost their parents as a baby, at least Harry got to know who his parents were and had stuff left for him, whereas Naruto never got to know his parents, as whenever he asks the people back home in Konoha, they would either ignore him, give him cryptic answers, or even flat out say that his parents never loved him and discarded the boy like trash. Oh, if only the boy knew the truth of what happened. Now the second stop was at Dumbledore's vault, and it was loaded like a gold mine. Despite it not being Naruto's own vault, he got a decent amount required to buy his school supplies. Naruto thought to himself, note to self. Open up an account for myself in the near future and start saving. Finally, the last stop was a mysterious vault, and the mystery to the young wizards was that inside the vault lies only a small wrapped up package. Hagrid was the one to pick it up and told the two to keep this a secret and never mention it to anyone. The two nodded, but that doesn't mean that it stops them from thinking about what it is. Soon the three got out of the bank, ready to do some shopping. "Now that we got your currency, let's go shopping, shall we?" Hagrid announced. Harry nodded along with Naruto, though what Naruto said surprised the two. "Do you guys mind if I can shop by myself?" Naruto asked. Hagrid asked why at first, but Naruto said he wanted to explore, that's all. Hagrid agreed with Naruto's reasoning and said, "Alright then, just make sure to return the leaky cauldron before it gets dark." Naruto nodded and went on his own, while Hagrid and Harry went to the first shop. But Naruto walks the streets of Diagon Alley looking for what he needs to find. He notices a bunch of kids examining some broomstick at a shop, with the broomstick being called the Nimbus 2000. As he walked the streets, he's noticed by a bunch of girls, claiming how adorable he is with the whiskers and all that. At first Naruto was surprised by how they aren't calling him a freak, but hey, it's better than nothing. Naruto arrives at the shop known as Madame Malkin's Robes for all occasions, and as he enters to get his robes, he's surprised by how many students there are waiting to get their clothing. Naruto is soon greeted by an elderly woman in the shop, and the elderly woman asks, "Can I help you with something?" Naruto states that he is here to buy 3 robes, and luckily the elder woman notices and asks that he's a first-year student, to which Naruto nods. "Alright then, follow me to the dressing room," she said to Naruto, leading him towards a small room with a curtain. Naruto enters the room, and the elderly woman said to the boy that she will take his measurements. Naruto nodded and allowed her to measure him, and she measured him with a long feather strand with numbers on them. "Let's see here, 4'9" and arm length 11 inches, foot size 4, alright then, sit tight, I'll be right back," she said to the boy, heading into the back room. Naruto waits patiently, and a few minutes later the woman arrives with the 3 pairs of robes and boots. The woman asks him to try them on in the dressing room, and so Naruto does, and he comes out of the room with the clothes fitting him. The woman smiled and said, "Excellent, now then let me pin your name and your robes, and before I do so I must ask, what is your name?" Naruto, the boy said, and so the woman weaved his name in the robes with her own wand. After the boy got all his required robes, he also got a trunk as well to help him out to get his supplies. Soon the boy got all the equipment required, such as a cauldron, some files, telescopes and scales. Now all he needs are the books and most importantly a wand. He also might consider getting a pet if he wants to. But Harry had just gotten almost all of his supplies, such as robes, books, cauldron, etc. Now all he needs is a wand. "Hey Hagrid, where can I buy a wand?" Harry asked. "Why, I know a place, Harry. If you want to get the best wands, head on over to Ollivander's," Hagrid said to Harry. So, Harry heads over to Ollivander's wand shop to get his wand, and as he enters the shop he's greeted over by the owner of the shop, and so they begin the testing process, but let's say that it was rather tricky. No, definitely not," the owner of the shop stated as he went back to the room to find some other wands for Harry to try. Harry, seeing the mishap, puts down the wand cautiously on the counter. Soon Ollivander brought out a few more wands for Harry to try, and even then it didn't work as it caused quite some damage to the shop, which was nothing new for the owner, as the same happens for some wizards when trying out wands. I wonder, the wand maker said as he pulls out a wand from a box that will determine whether it will work for Harry. 11 inches Holly Phoenix Feather Core, Ollivander said as he described the wand. Harry tries the wand and suddenly he feels the magic flowing through him, which indicates that it works. Curious, very curious, he said. Sorry, but what's curious? Harry asked. I remember every wand I've ever sold, Mr. Potter, and it just so happens that the phoenix whose feather resides in your wand gave another feather just one. It is curious that you should be destined for this wand when its brother gave you that scar, Ollivander stated as he pointed at Harry's scar on his forehead. Harry was shocked and can ask who, but it seemed that Ollivander wasn't so keen on talking about who that person was. Ollivander states that the wand chooses the wizard and it is expected that Harry will do great things, much like he who must not be named. Harry purchased his wand and got out of the store, only to find Hagrid holding a cage with a white snowy owl. Hey Harry, happy birthday. Harry smiled and left with Hagrid. But Naruto. Naruto enters a shop called Flourish and Blots to go pick up his textbooks. He goes up to the counter and an employee asks what he's here for, to which Naruto shows his letter. The employee nods and gets the boys' textbooks. Naruto pays for the books and leaves the shop to get 2 more things. Alright, let's see here, I got most of the stuff here now, all I need is a pet and a wand. Luckily there was a pet shop Klossby called Magical Menagerie, and so Naruto entered. Amazing, Naruto said excitedly as he looked around the shop to see all kinds of animals, from cats, dogs, snakes, spiders, etc. It seems that some of the animals like him while the others despise him, namely snakes, so to speak. However, there was one animal that actually came, or rather flew up to him. A large jet black crow flew up to him. Naruto observed the crow, and what he noticed was that the crow's eyes were blood red and appeared to have a design of a 4-point pinwheel. The crow observes Naruto, and to Naruto's shock it responds, "Are you the child of prophecy?" said the crow. Naruto was shocked at first, thinking that it was the crow speaking or something, but luckily Naruto thought it was his mind playing tricks with him, as the crow cawed and remained by Naruto's side. "Well, I'll be damned, it seems the crow likes you," said the owner. "Huh?" Naruto asked. The owner explained, "Well, you see, this crow was in this shop for 2 years and nobody picked him up as they were scared of him, but really the crow is friendly if you got to know him." Wow, Naruto said astonished, "Well, I guess you're by my side then, but if you're going to be by my side, you at least need a name," Naruto said to the crow. The crow looks at Naruto and caws softly. "How about I call you Cage, Shadow?" The crow looks at Naruto and bobs its head in agreement. Naruto smiled and proceeded to pay for his pet. Naruto and Cage leave the pet shop, to which Naruto finally needs a wand. "Alright, I finally need a wand, so now where can I find one?" Naruto asks. Luckily there was a shop nearby that sells wands. Ollivander's, huh? "Well, okay then, let's go get myself a wand," said Naruto, and so the boy and his pet crow entered the shop. Ollivander's wand shop. As the two walked into the shop, they noticed that the place was quite a mess. "Ah, hello there, young man, don't mind the mess. Just had some young ones like you trying out wands here," said an old man. Naruto nods and says, "Hi, I'm here to get my first wand, please." "Alright then, what is your name?" the old man asked. "Naruto Uzumaki," responded the boy. Never heard of you. Tell me, are your parents muggles?" Naruto, unsure how to answer that, says, "I don't know really, I'm an orphan." Ollivander nods, "I see, well, since you are here, might as well get your first wand," Ollivander responded and started finding some wands for Naruto to try. Couple of hours went by and both Naruto and Ollivander were burned out, as Naruto was quite tricky when it comes to finding the right wand. Cage watches the scene as he sweat dropped. How is this possible? You're way more trickier than Mr. Potter." Ollivander cried out in frustration as every wand he gave to Naruto failed. "I don't know." Naruto cried out as well. Ollivander decided to try out one more wand and he hoped that it could work. Could it be this one, thought Ollivander as he pulled out the wand from the box. The wand itself was black, had its handle wrapped in white leather almost like bandages, and had some cyan-like gems on 4 sides, along with one on the bottom. 13 inches ebony wood phoenix feather ancestral hair, Ollivander said as he handed the wand to Naruto. Naruto took the wand and he felt his magic surge in him, so much so that his aura that surrounds him was a green-white-like color. Imagine the livestream from Fi. "Interesting, most interesting," Ollivander said. Naruto looks to Ollivander and the man clarifies, "Just like Mr. Potter, the wand chooses the wizard, so it is expected that you will do great things as well." Naruto was confused and wanted to ask more, but all of his magic that surged through his wand is making him tired, which is surprising since he's hyperactive. Anyway, so Naruto got his wand free of charge since he learned from Ollivander that this wand was acquired through illegal means and as such, there wasn't a rightful owner of the wand until now. As Naruto and Kage left the shop, Ollivander thinks to himself Potter and Uzumaki are truly destined for great things, even though the two may have caused quite some damage to the shop, albeit Naruto did so more than Harry. Chapter 5. The Journey to Hogwarts. The Leaky Cauldron Nighttime. Naruto, Harry, and Hagrid were at the Leaky Cauldron after a day of shopping. While Naruto and Hagrid talked, Harry was in deep thought over something that has been troubling him the whole day. Hagrid noticed Harry and asked, "You alright, Harry? You seem very quiet." Naruto looked over to Harry. "He killed my parents, didn't he? The one who gave me this," Harry said as he pointed at his scar. Naruto's eyes widened in shock. "You know, Hagrid, I know you do," Harry said. Both Naruto and Harry turned to Hagrid for the truth. Hagrid sighed and decided to give them the truth first and understand this you too, cause it's very important, not all wizards are good, some of them go bad. A few years ago there was this one wizard who went as bad as you can go, and his name is V. Hagrid was hesitant to mention the dark wizard's name. "Why don't you just write his name down?" asked Harry with Naruto nodding in agreement. "Can't spell it alright, fine, his name is Voldemort," Hagrid whispered. Voldemort, Naruto and Harry said a little bit loudly but not too much to garner some attention. "Shhh, keep your voice down," Hagrid said to the boys, and the two looked around, and luckily no one heard them. Hagrid decided to explain to the boys about what happened by going over the details, such as Voldemort having a huge number of followers, and how he managed to kill Harry's parents except Harry himself. Harry was dumbfounded by this revelation and asked me. "He tried to kill me?" Naruto was shocked and wanted to know more. "Yes, that isn't any ordinary cut on your forehead, Harry. A mark like that can only come from a curse, an evil curse at that," Hagrid said. "What happened to Vo, you know who?" Harry asked. Hagrid looked out to the distance and said, "Some say he died, which I believe is Codswallop in my opinion. Nope, I think he is still out there, too tired to go on, but one thing's absolutely certain," Hagrid said with the boys leaning in closer to hear. "Something about you managed to stop him that night, that's why you are famous, Harry, that's why everybody knows who you are the boy who lived," Hagrid said. Naruto finally understands why Harry was treated like a celebrity, but he still believes that there are some questions that need to be answered, but that can wait another time. King's Cross Station. Naruto, Harry, and Hagrid arrived at the train station. Naruto was amazed at the locomotives and said wow. Harry and Hagrid chuckled. "Come now, Naruto, don't want to be late, do you now?" Naruto pushed his cart and managed to keep up with Harry. The three arrive at the platform, Hagrid pulls out his pocket watch, blimey, is that the time? "Sorry you two, but I'm gonna have to leave you cause Dumbledore'll be wanting he'll be wanting to see me now. Your train leaves in 10 minutes," he said, reaching into his pocket and bringing out 2 golden slips. "Here are your tickets, stick to them, it's very important you two, so stick to your ticket," Hagrid said. Harry and Naruto looked at their tickets. Harry noticed something about the platform number, platform 9 3/4. There has got to be a mistake. "There is no platform 9 3/4, Harry said, only to find Hagrid gone. Naruto, confused as well, decided to say, "Let's ask around." The two pushed their carts around the station and asked a man about the platform number, but the man thought they were joking around and decided to walk away. The two sighed. Luckily Naruto noticed something or rather someone. "Hey Harry, look," Naruto points out to a group with the same carts and items. The said group was a family of redeeds, and what surprised the two young wizards was that one of the red-haired boys ran through a brick wall and managed to pass through it. Soon a pair of twins from the group also ran through the brick wall as well. Naruto and Harry looked at each other for a moment and then decided to go over to the group. Excuse me, could you tell us how to?" Naruto asked, pointing at the wall. "How to get to the platform?" "Yes, not to worry, dear, it's Ron's first time as well," the woman said, as a red-haired boy of the same age, as the duo smiles at them. Harry also notices a young girl from the group blushing at him. "Now all you have to do is walk straight towards the wall between platforms 9 and 10, the woman said. Naruto got into position, "Best do it at a run if you're nervous." Naruto nods and turns to Harry. "See you on the other side," Naruto said as he ran towards the wall and passed through it. Harry did the same as well. Naruto greets Harry and they both look at where they are. Yep, it was totally different than what they have seen in the Muggle world, as the trains were much different and they noticed some kids their age or older with their parents, along with some other wizards and witches. The two heard the train's whistle. "Better get inside quick," Naruto said. Harry nodded and the two brought their luggage to the employers before boarding the train. The train lets out a whistle before the wheels turn and students wave goodbye to their parents before they embark on their journey to Hogwarts. Inside the train. Naruto and Harry found a compartment and sat inside. They look at the window viewing the countryside. "Never thought I would be far from home," Naruto said. Harry looked at him and asked, "What was your home like?" Naruto, unsure on how to respond to Harry, decided to say I wasn't really liked by most people, rather I was hated for something I don't even know. The people in my village treat me like I'm some sort of freak, monster, etc. Maybe they knew I was a wizard or something, but what I can say is that my whole life I lived alone, not knowing who my parents were as I was an orphan trying to survive. Harry listened carefully, and if anything he sympathized with Naruto. Don't worry Naruto, we'll be friends no matter what Harry said as he held out his hand. Naruto smiled and shook Harry's hand. Soon the two decided to change the subject by talking about some interesting stories and passing some jokes. Several minutes pass by, and the red-headed boy they met at the station opens the compartment door. "Excuse me, do you mind? Everywhere else is full," the red-haired boy asked. "No, not all," Naruto said, allowing the redhead to sit next to him. The red-headed boy thanked the two, and the two nodded. "I'm Ron by the way. Ron Weasley," the redhead introduces himself. Naruto Uzumaki the blonde introduces himself and shakes hands with Ron. Harry Potter the glass-wearing boy introduces himself making Ron go wide-eyed. So it's true? I mean, do you really have the Ron stuttered. "The what?" "The scar." Ron whispered. "Oh, yeah," Harry responded as he showed off his lightning bolt scar. Wicked Ron stared. The three were talking for a bit until a trolley filled with sweets rolled up. "Anything off the trolley, dears?" the woman asked. "No thanks, I'm all set," Ron said as he brought up a mushed-up sandwich from his jacket. Both Naruto and Harry deadpanned a bit before taking out several galleons from their pockets. "We'll take the lot," Harry said. "Whoa." Ron said looking at the amount of galleons Harry and Naruto had. Time passed as the three talked about things they would expect for their first year at Hogwarts. Given that Ron was an expert at food, he gave info on the sweets both Naruto and Harry were eating. Also Ron decided to show off his rat, Scabbers, to the two. There seems to be a lot about Ron's pet that puts off Naruto, but Naruto shakes that thought off. The blonde grabs a box full of multicolored jelly beans, and Ron explains how those jelly beans have every flavor ranging from the good and bad, along with how Ron mentions that one of his twin brothers got a booger-flavored bean, which grosses Naruto as he spits out the bean. Harry picks up a blue and gold-colored package. "These aren't real chocolate frogs, aren't they?" asked Harry. "It's just a spell, besides it's the cards you want, each pack's got a famous wizard or witch, I got about 500 myself," Ron states. Harry opens his pack, but his frog leaped out and escaped from the window. "That's rotten luck, they only got one jump in to begin with," Ron stated. Naruto opened his pack and luckily got his frog and ate it. "It tastes like chocolate and peanut butter," Naruto thought as he ate it. Harry looked at his card and said he got Dumbledore, while he looked at the holographic image. Naruto looks at his card and it was a middle-aged man with light blonde hair, blue eyes, a thin white mustache, and appears to be dressed in a black suit with some blues mixed in. "Who is this guy?" Naruto asked, showing his card. Ron looks at his card and widens his eyes. "That's Gellert Grindelwald, the most infamous dark wizard of all time besides you-know-who, he's pretty rare," Ron explains. Harry looks at Naruto's card before going back to his. "Hey, he's gone," he said as Dumbledore's image just disappeared. "Well, you can't expect him to be there all day, can you?" Ron stated. The two put their cards away. As they continued talking and eating, Ron mentions how his brother told him a spell that can turn his rat yellow. Harry and Naruto, wanting to see some magic, excitedly agreed. Ron pulls out his wand and as he is about to enchant the spell, the door compartment opens showing a girl. "Hey, has anyone seen a toad? A boy named Neville lost one," the girl asked. Naruto looks at the girl and thinks wow she's pretty cute, way more so than Sakura, but this only saddens Naruto as he remembers his current situation. "Oh, you're doing magic. Let's see," then the girl motions Ron to start. Ron starts, "Sunshine, daisies, buttermellow, turn this stupid fat rat yellow," he said zapping Scabbers. Nothing happened as everyone stared blankly. Was that supposed to be the spell? Naruto deadpanned. "Are you sure that's a real spell? It's not very good, is it?" "Of course I've only tried a few simple spells and they all worked out for me, for example," the girl said as she sat down next to Naruto across from Harry and pointed her wand at him. "Oculus Reparo," she said as she fixed up Harry's glasses with a spell. Harry takes off his glasses and examines them. "That's better, isn't it?" "Holy cricket, you're Harry Potter, I'm Hermione Granger and you are?" she asks. "Ron Weasley," he replies with his mouth full of food. "Darn," she replied, a little bit disgusted. And lastly, Naruto Uzumaki, "Nice to meet you," Naruto introduces himself, holding out his hand. Hermione smiles and shakes his hand. "Well, you three better change into your robes, I expect we'll arrive soon," she said as she left the compartment. "Oh, and Naruto, you've got some chocolate on your lips," she said as she licked her thumb and wiped it off before leaving. Naruto blushes crazily and looks at the other two as they smirked at him. "Don't laugh," Naruto says to them. Hogwarts Station, nighttime. The train arrives at the station and minutes later every student gets out of the train. The three, now dressed in their school uniforms, get out of the train and they notice Hagrid guiding the first years. The three walk up to him, Hagrid greets them, and Harry and Naruto do the same. Ron stared in awe at the half-giant. "Whoa," he said. They follow the half-giant to the boats after learning that their luggages will be sent to their rooms. Soon the boats are on the lake being rowed to the castle, Harry and Ron are in a boat, while Naruto and Hermione are paired together, and soon they look at the huge castle in the distance in amazement. Chapter 6. The Sorting Hat. Hogwarts Castle nighttime. Naruto along with his fellow first years went upstairs in the castle. As they went upstairs, they were all stopped by an elderly woman, Professor McGonagall. The woman smiled at the first years. "Welcome to Hogwarts, now in a few moments you will pass through these doors and join your classmates, but before you can take your seats you must be sorted into your houses," the professor said as the first years looked at each other before looking back at the professor. "The houses are Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, and Slytherin. Now while you are here, your house will be like your family, your triumphs will earn you house points, any rule breaking, and you will lose points. At the end of the year, the house with the most points is awarded the House Cup," McGonagall explains. Soon the moment was interrupted when a first-year boy found his toad and yelled out Trevor. As he rushes in and grabs his toad. The professor looks at the boy with an raised eyebrow. The boy, embarrassed, mutters out sorry and goes back to the group. McGonagall shook her head. "The sorting ceremony will begin momentarily," she said before walking away. Naruto spoke to his group about how they hope they are in the same house, and the others were hoping the same. Soon the moment was ruined when a boy of their age with slick-back blonde hair spoke. "So it's true then, what they're saying on the train, Harry Potter has come to Hogwarts," the boy said. The students heard what they were saying and murmured about this, while a blonde-haired girl with cold blue eyes and a serious face listened intently. "This is Crabbe and Goyle," the boy said as he points to the other two boys by his side, "and I'm Draco Malfoy," he introduces himself, though he frowns as Ron snickers at him. "Think my name is funny to you? No need to ask yours, red hair and a hand-me-down, you must be a Weasley, we'll soon find out that some wizarding families are better than others. Potter, don't want to go making friends with the wrong sort, I can help you," he said as he held his hand out. Naruto, Ron, and Hermione glared at the boy, and as Naruto was about to go punch the living daylights out of Draco for insulting his friends, Harry responded to Draco. "I think I can tell who the wrong sort is for myself, thanks," Harry said as he frowns at the boy. Draco seethes and is about to say more, but luckily Professor McGonagall returns and smacks Draco's shoulder with rolled-up parchment. Draco returns to his group not before glaring at Harry and his friends one last time. McGonagall announces that the students are ready to enter the hall. As every student begins to enter the hall, Naruto accidentally bumps into some girl. "Whoops, sorry about that," Naruto said to the girl. The girl in question was a blonde girl with cold blue eyes and a serious expression, and the girl turned to Naruto and said don't worry about it, and she just walked with the rest of the students. Naruto hurries back to his group and sees the hall. He along with the other students were amazed by what they saw on the ceiling and thought it was the actual night sky, when actually the ceiling was bewitched to look like that. McGonagall stops the upcoming first years and mentions before we begin to sort you, Professor Dumbledore would like to say a few words. Dumbledore stands up and begins to talk about how the Dark Forest is forbidden to all students and how the third-floor corridor on the right is out of bounds and gives a warning about going there. Naruto and the other students were shaken by that warning. Now then, McGonagall came back with a pretty long list, a stool, and a hat. "Now then, when I call your name, you shall come forth and I will place the sorting hat on your head and you will be sorted into your house," McGonagall stated as she opened the long scroll. The first person to go was Hermione Granger. Now Hermione was nervous at first, but Naruto assures Hermione that she'll be fine. She goes up and the sorting hat talked and had just sorted her to Gryffindor. Everyone cheered as she walked to the table with Gryffindor. The next person to go was Draco Malfoy, who was unsurprisingly sorted into Slytherin. Soon the next person to go was Susan Bones, and she was sorted to Hufflepuff. As she was getting sorted, Harry's car was burning up, to which Harry notices a man with greasy black hair looking at him. Naruto asks Harry if he's okay, but Harry shakes it off and assures Naruto that he's fine. Now the next person to go was the blonde-haired girl with cold blue eyes, now named Daphne Greengrass, that Naruto encountered and she was sorted to Slytherin, but what surprised Naruto was that after she got sorted, she had a neutral face, as if she didn't care which house she went to, or maybe there was something else, but Naruto shakes off that idea, as Ron was about to go up. Ron was nervous at first, given how the hat sounded rather indignant, but luckily Ron got sorted into Gryffindor as everyone cheered on for him. Now then it's time for Naruto to go up as he got called to be sorted. As McGonagall places the hat on Naruto, difficult, very difficult, I've seen that you have suffered much pain and sorrow through your whole life, and you are ambitious to be seen by others as yourself, and I have sensed something dangerous inside you. I could place you in Slytherin, the hat said to Naruto. Naruto said, "Can I go to a place where I can make friends, real friends?" Naruto asked the hat. "Despite the pain and sorrow, I see bravery in you, a will of fire, perhaps in that case better to be Gryffindor," the hat said. Everybody cheered as Naruto went to the Gryffindor table and sat between Ron and Hermione. Now the next person to go was Harry Potter, and everyone was silent as he went to be sorted. Just like with Naruto, the hat was about to consider sorting Harry to Slytherin, but in the end sorted Harry to Gryffindor, as he didn't want to be in Slytherin. Everybody cheered as Harry got sorted in Gryffindor, and he sat next to Ron. After everybody gets sorted, Dumbledore announces the beginning of the feast. As soon as Dumbledore announced that, every table was filled up with many kinds of food. Naruto and Ron had stars in their eyes when they saw the food, and soon everybody dug in. While everybody ate, the group decided to get to know each other, although Naruto remained kind of secretive about his past, as he was unsure whether to tell them the whole truth. Luckily Harry knew Naruto was uncomfortable about sharing the details and assured him that he can tell them when the time is right, to which Naruto thanks him. Harry later learns about the professor who was looking at him, and he's Professor Snape, who is head of Slytherin House, and he teaches potions, but prefers defense of the dark arts. Later a bunch of ghosts fly through the halls, such as Nearly Headless Nick and the Bloody Baron. As the feast goes on for another half an hour, it soon ends as everybody from their respective houses leave for the dorms. Naruto and his group go with their house to their dorm, and as they go up the moving staircases, they notice some paintings that are moving and greeting the new students. Soon they arrive at the dorm, and a portrait that seems to be a door asks for the password. The prefect, Percy Weasley, says Caput Draconis, to which the door opens and the entire house marvels at the common house. They are led to their respective dorms. Naruto finds his belongings in his bed along with his pet crow, Cage. After setting up and putting his PJs on, he found a note which had a schedule for his classes, and he took note of it. Naruto talks with Cage, "This is a Cage, my new beginning. Starting tomorrow I'm going to become a wizard and you'll be by my side on this journey," Naruto said to his crow, which the crow bobbed its head in agreement and cawed softly. Naruto smiled and went to sleep, knowing tomorrow is going to be an exciting start for his Hogwarts career. Chapter 7. My first week of school. Naruto wakes up early for his first day of school at Hogwarts. He switches from his PJs into his now updated school robes and grabs his supplies ready to start a new beginning. He heads out of his dorm and sees Hermione outside. Smiling, he goes up to her and greets her. "Morning, Hermione," he said. Hermione turns to see Naruto, and she too greets him. "Morning, Naruto, are you ready to start your first year at Hogwarts?" she asked excitedly. Naruto nods in agreement, but then Hermione asks, "Where's Harry and Ron?" "I think the two are still sleeping," Naruto said. Hermione takes in what she heard and she says this. "Well, I'm sure they'll wake up before class starts. Come then, we have plenty of time to go over the material before class starts," Hermione said, and the two walked to the Great Hall together. Great Hall morning time. The two talked about what they are excited to learn for their first year, and as they entered the Great Hall, the two found a table and sat side by side going over the material while eating breakfast. They decided to go over the potions material first, as that is their first class of the day. Both Naruto and Hermione took note of what they're likely going to learn, such as knowing what certain ingredients are and where they're located along with how it's used. To be honest, this has been the first time Naruto has ever been interested in academics, as back in Konoha, he wouldn't show interest in boring stuff outside of learning ninjutsu and stuff like that. The two continued to go over the material before heading to their first class. Potions class. The class was located in the dungeons, and for the first few minutes of class, Professor Snape gave the class a rundown of what they will be learning, and from what Naruto could tell, the professor really doesn't like teaching this class, as indicated by his tone and all that jazz. Naruto remembered that Professor Snape would rather teach defense against the dark arts instead of potions, so maybe that's why Snape is acting like this. Snape tells the class to go to page 15 from the textbook as they begin the lesson, and so Naruto took notes on the ingredients and recipes from the book. Snape asks Naruto to answer a question for the class. "Mr. Uzumaki, would you mind telling the class what Shrivelfig is used for?" Naruto responds, "It's a magical plant found in Abyssinia, and when skinned its liquid inside is used for potions such as shrinking solution and the elixir to induce." Snape nodded in approval and said, "You respond quickly and correctly, impressive." Snape gave the class a final lesson for the day. He instructs the class to make a cure for Boyle's potion, and for this lesson, they need to partner up with someone to make the potion with an approving grade. Naruto partners up with Hermione and the two head to their station, while the others do the same. As they work on the potion, the two took the time to get to know each other as well. "So Naruto, tell me about yourself," Hermione asked the blonde wizard. Naruto looks at her. "Nothing much really, except that I learned I was a wizard about a few weeks ago," he said, surprising Hermione. He further explains, to be honest, I didn't learn about being a wizard until now, given that I'm an orphan, but growing up back home I wasn't liked by many, which saddens Hermione, given that wizards and witches are hated by most muggles. But what she's about to learn will shock her. I was treated like a monster instead of a human being. I didn't know why, considering they would always beat and torture me whenever I ask, and the worst part is that when I asked the people that don't hate me about who my parents were, they were either silent or they gave me cryptic answers, Naruto said to Hermione, as she looks like she's on the verge of tears hearing the story. Looking back, every day from my village felt like hell. Maybe I was a cursed child or something, maybe they knew I was a wizard. I often ask myself if my parents abandoned me because I was a wizard or did they die for me. I can never tell, Naruto states. Hermione placed her hand on his shoulder. Don't worry Naruto, you got me, Harry, and Ron, we're a family no matter what, she said with a sad smile. Naruto looked at her and smiled sadly. Thank you Hermione, he said softly. The two got back to work on the potion and managed to finish first with the best grade. Soon the rest of the class finished as well, although one such group managed to finish with an accident, and it was Neville Longbottom and his partner. Transfiguration class. Now Naruto's next class was Transfiguration. As Naruto sat next to Hermione, the professor of the class introduces herself. The professor, Minerva McGonagall, goes over the concepts of transfiguration by talking about the 4 types such as transformation, vanishment, conjuration, and untransfiguration. The class itself was pretty complex, as the textbook explaining the concepts still made it hard to understand. 20 minutes go by as Professor McGonagall talks about transformation by showing an animagus, which actually interests Naruto, as that reminds of him of the transformation jutsu, except this time you can only turn into animals. Soon Harry and Ron arrive at class, although they're pretty late, they just don't know it yet. We made it, can you imagine the look of old McGonagall's face if we are late? Ron said to Harry. As if on cue, McGonagall jumps off the table as a cat and transforms back to her human self, surprising the two boys. That was bloody brilliant, said Ron. Thank you for that assessment, Mr. Weasley. Maybe if I were to transfigure either Mr. Potter or yourself as a pocket watch, maybe one of you would be on time, the professor retorted. We got lost, Harry responded. Then perhaps a map? I trust you don't need one to find your seat, she said, to which the two boys nodded and found somewhere to sit. The two sat behind Naruto and Hermione, and class resumed. The professor gave the class an assignment where they turn a match into a needle, and so far only Hermione was able to do it, impressing McGonagall. Friday lunchtime. It has been about a few days in the first week of term. Naruto has gone to almost all his classes with the exception of the flying class. In his defense against the dark arts class, he learned spells such as Lumos, Nox, Periculum, and Vermilius, an advanced form of Verdilius. Naruto later learns that Snape hates Harry Potter for some reason he doesn't know. Anyways, with all that happened this week, Naruto can't wait to relax as the weekend is coming up, along with the fact that he'll soon be learning to fly on a broomstick. As Naruto and his friends sit down at the Great Hall for some lunch, a boy from their house was trying to turn his drink into rum, which failed miserably as it exploded on him instead. While everybody laughed, the owls came flying through the hall delivering parcels and such. Harry notices a newspaper with an interesting headline. Naruto and Hermione noticed that Neville got a remembrall, to which Neville states that he doesn't know what he had forgotten, which was his robes. Now back to Harry and the newspaper. Hey guys, somebody broke into Gringotts, Harry said. The others look at him. Listen, believed to be the work of dark witches or wizards unknown, Gringotts goblins, while acknowledging the breach, insists that nothing was taken. The vault in question, number 713, had in fact been emptied earlier that same day Harry spoke. Naruto was shocked. 713. Wasn't that the vault you, me, and Hagrid went to? Naruto asked, to which Harry nods. The four look at each other before reading more from the article. Chapter 8. First Flight. Flying Class. Students from both Gryffindor and Slytherin face each other as they are lined in 2 rows with brooms by their side, well, more like on the ground to be exact. A woman with short spiky hair and the eyes of a hawk walks down and inspects her class. Good afternoon class, the woman said to her class. Good afternoon Madam Hooch, the class responded. Welcome to your first flying lesson. Well, what are you waiting for? Everyone step up to the left side of your broomstick, she ordered the students. The students did as instructed, now waiting for further instructions. Now stick your right hand over the broom and say, up, she instructed. Up. The students commanded their brooms, to which both Harry and Naruto managed to get it on their first try, as Hermione stared at the two. Several of the students were still trying to get their brooms up, with a couple of the Slytherins managing to get the broom in their hands, such as Daphne Greengrass and Draco Malfoy, though it seems Malfoy was rather smug about it, even though he got it in his second try. Up. Shouted Ron to his broom before his broom shoots up and hits his nose. Naruto and Harry snicker at him. Shut up you two. He groaned in pain. After everyone got their brooms in their hands, Madam Hooch says, "Now I want you to mount your broom and grip it tight, you don't want to be sliding off the end," the instructor explained. Naruto whispers to Harry, "That's what she said," to which Harry widens his eyes and snickers at the joke. Anyways, the class does as told. "When I blow my whistle, I want each of you to kick off from the ground, hard. Keep your broom steady, hover for a moment, and then lean forward slightly and touch back down, on my whistle 3-2 tweet," she said before blowing her whistle. Right before they kick off, it looks like Neville flew up looking scared. Everybody was shocked at what was going on, since it seems like Neville's broom has gone rogue. He flies off here and there, hitting the wall a few times. The instructor tries to stop the broom, but it looks like the broom was going towards the students like a bullet. Luckily Naruto tackled Harry and Hermione before they got hurt. The rogue broom that Neville rode on was flying around the path before reaching a statue of a man holding a spear. Neville got off the broom, but his cloak was dangling on the spear before ripping off. Neville falls down as he grabs hold of a torch, but even then, he still falls down. The instructor rushes to check on Neville to see if he has any injuries as everybody watches and cringes at what they have seen. Neville is being taken to the infirmary, but not before the instructor threatens every student with expulsion if they are seen flying their brooms without permission. As Neville is taken to the infirmary, Malfoy snickers at the scene and decides to take Neville's remembrall, though it seems one Daphne Greengrass has been watching the scene happen disapprovingly. Draco laughs. "Did you see his face? Maybe if that fat lump had given this a squeeze, he'd remember to fall on his fat arse," he said as a couple of the Slytherins were laughing with him. The Gryffindor group frowned at them. Harry went up to Draco and glared at him. "Give it here, Malfoy," Harry said. On the Slytherin side, Daphne grabs Draco's shoulder and coldly says, "I suggest giving the remembrall to him or else." Malfoy scoffs at her and tosses the ball up and down as he looks to Harry and says, "No, I think I'll leave it somewhere for Longbottom to find." Malfoy mounts his broom and takes off to the sky. "How about up on the roof?" he says as he flew higher. "What's the matter, Potter? Bit beyond your reach?" Malfoy taunts. Harry was pissed and went after him. Hermione tried to warn Harry, but it was too late as he flew off to the sky. "What an idiot," she muttered in annoyance. Naruto observes the sky to see how the confrontation will go. As Harry and Draco were in the sky, Harry threatens Draco if he doesn't give up the item. However, it seems Draco has other plans as he dodges Harry and throws the ball as hard as he can. Harry flew off to catch the item, while the others were worried that Harry wouldn't make it. But it seems like luck was on Harry's side as he catches the ball and manages to avoid being hit by doing a spin. As everybody outside noticed that, so did Professor McGonagall, who was working at the time, as she noticed that feat from the other side of the window. Harry returns to the ground with everyone from the Gryffindor group cheering him on, while some Slytherins are pretty impressed with the feat, especially one blonde female Slytherin as she smirks. However, the moment was soon interrupted as Professor McGonagall comes outside and calls for Harry. "Mr. Potter," she said, grabbing the boy's attention. "Follow me," she states. Harry sullenly followed her, while Malfoy and his posse laughed. Naruto, pissed off, used some of the spells he learned in DADA on Malfoy and his gang, scaring the crap out of them. Meanwhile with Harry follows Professor McGonagall to her office, but before they head to her office, they have to make a quick stop. "Wait here," she said to Harry, as she calls for a student from Professor Quirrell's class. The student comes out of the class, who appears to be an older boy. "Potter, this is Oliver Wood. Wood, I believe I have found you a seeker," she exclaims, surprising the older boy. Harry was confused and asked, "What's a seeker?" Chapter 9. Celebration and Loss. Naruto, Harry, and Ron are just walking around the campus talking about the events that just happened. Both Naruto and Ron had just learned that Harry was made a seeker for their house's Quidditch team. Ron was excited about the news, whereas Naruto was confused, given that he still doesn't know much about the wizarding world, let alone the concept of Quidditch itself. "Wait, what is Quidditch?" Naruto asked Ron, to which Ron was shocked. "You don't know Quidditch?" Ron said, dumbfounded. "Hey, I still don't know much about the wizarding world," Naruto said. So Ron decides to explain the sport along with its rules. Later, Ron's brothers, Fred and George, came around hearing the news that Harry was made as the new seeker, and they decided to explain their roles in the team. After hearing many things about Quidditch, it seems to interest Naruto. However, Harry seems unsure of himself playing the game as he is losing confidence. Luckily, Hermione comes to the rescue and assures Harry that he'll be fine. "You won't make a fool out of yourself, it's in your blood," she states as she leads the boys to a trophy case showing a plaque of players with Harry's father listed on one of them. They were all amazed, whereas Harry was surprised to see his father in his younger days. As the four went up the stairs to the common room, the staircases began to move. The four held on to the railing as the staircase connected to another level. "Let's go this way," Harry suggested. The four opened the door only to enter a dark room. "Does anyone feel like we shouldn't be here?" questioned Naruto. That's because we are on the third floor, it's forbidden, said Hermione, sounding pretty worried. Soon the torches in the room light up and before they could leave, they see Mrs. Norris, Mr. Filch's cat, standing in front of the door blocking their way. It's Filch's cat. Exclaimed Ron, sounding worried. Not wanting to get caught, the four ran as fast as they could all the way to the end of the corridor, only to deal with a locked door. That's it, we're done for, Ron cried. No we're not, move over, Hermione states as she pulls out her wand and points to a keyhole and says Alohomora as a small light shines through the hole and unlocks the door. The four enter the room, while on the other side of the door, Mr. Filch comes out and picks up his cat, checking for anyone who's in the room only to find no one. As Filch left, the four sighed in relief. Filch is gone, assured Hermione. Probably thinks it's locked, Ron said in his opinion. It was locked, Naruto said rather cautiously. And for good reason, Harry states as they all look up to see a giant three-headed dog growling at them. The four screamed and got out of the room quickly and went back to their common room. Gryffindor common room. The four managed to head back into the common room, albeit looking as if they ran a marathon. What were they thinking? Keeping a thing like that locked up in a school, Ron stated, pretty shaken from that moment. You didn't see it. Naruto said. See what? Questioned Harry. What it was standing on, Hermione said. Ron looks at the two as if they had grown a second head and said I wasn't looking at its feet. I was a bit more preoccupied with its head, or maybe you didn't notice, there were three eyes. It was standing on a trapdoor, Naruto states. Meaning it wasn't an accident, it's guarding something, Hermione finishes. Guarding something? Harry asked. That's right, now if you don't mind, I'm going to bed before the three of you come up with another clever idea to get us killed or worse expelled. She states as she walks to her dorm and shuts the door. She really needs to sort out her priorities, Ron said to Harry, while Naruto looks at Ron as if he had said the dumbest thing he ever heard. As Ron and Harry went to their dorm, Naruto went to the couch and sat down. What a day, he said to himself while still thinking about what that three-headed dog was guarding. October 10. Weeks have passed since Naruto and his friends started at Hogwarts, as Naruto is getting to know more about the place, as well as some of the people. So far it seems that some professors such as McGonagall and Dumbledore actually found the boy to be quite likable, as he knows how to make people uplifted, whereas Snape was rather neutral with the boy, but still found him to be a good student in his class. Naruto and his friends have gotten to know more about Hagrid the groundskeeper, including his dog Fang, who seems to be thrilled when Naruto comes over to visit. Naruto has also managed to make friendships with some of the people in his house such as Neville, with how they have something of a green thumb when it comes to plants, Fred and George, just by how they share prank stories. But the most important friendship for Naruto was with Hermione, as they both became best friends over the course of the weeks, so much so that they are seen by many as a dynamic duo of sorts. Now the day is October 10, or in Naruto's case, his birthday. Naruto is seen walking into Dumbledore's office wanting to talk with him about that day. As he enters the office, he finds Dumbledore next to a beautiful red-orange bird. Hey Professor Dumbledore, Naruto said to the old man. Dumbledore turns and smiles at the boy. Hello Naruto, what brings you into my office this fine morning? He asked. Well, since today is my birthday, I was wondering if Naruto was about to finish when Dumbledore interrupts. Let me guess, you want to take some time off to reflect, is that it? Dumbledore said to Naruto. The blonde wizard sadly nods. Given how Dumbledore had seen the boy's memories, he figured it would be right for the boy to properly clear his mind of all the pain he has felt in his childhood. Very well then, I'll discuss with the professors about your absence today, but I must ask that you shouldn't hide your emotions away anymore and reveal the truth about yourself to your friend when you are ready, Dumbledore said to the boy. Naruto looked at the old man and sincerely thanked him. Leaving the office, he heads off to find a place to be at peace with himself. He and his pet crow, Cage, found a spot that overlooks the castle and the lake nearby. I still miss it there, but at the same time, I'm glad I'm not there anymore, Naruto said to his crow as he reflected about his time here. For the past few weeks or so, this place has been a home for him like no other. Despite Konoha being his old home, it can't compare to where he is. If anything, Naruto felt some strange emotions in his heart as if he yearned for something. Mom, Dad, whoever you guys were, I wonder when you guys died, did you at least love me or did you think I was a freak? Naruto asks himself sadly as he thinks about what his parents were like or who they were. Cage looks at Naruto sensing his emotions and decides to nuzzle his head next to Naruto as a way to comfort him. Naruto looked at Cage and smiled. He thought that despite him being alone here, he's not alone anymore as he has made brand new friendships that he will cherish. So in a way, he's glad that he was sent here by the Sage of Six Paths. Gryffindor common room nighttime. Harry, Ron, and Hermione were in the common room thinking about where Naruto was. They couldn't find him and when they asked the professors about his absence, they said that the boy was taking some time off to take care of some issues. Granted the three don't know about the boy's issue other than the professors, they figured that it was something personal. Naruto enters the common room and as they were about to greet him, they noticed that he was rather quiet. "Naruto, where were you and are you okay?" asked Hermione, sounding pretty worried. "Yeah mate, we didn't see you in class all day," Ron added. Harry looks at Naruto and figures that it's something personal given how he's acting right now. "Come on Ron, let's leave the two to talk," he said to Ron, grabbing his hand and going up the stairs. "But I want to know," said Ron. "Believe me, I too want to know, but if it's something personal," Harry was going to finish when Naruto interrupted. "It's fine guys, the reason why I was absent all day is because today is my birthday," Naruto said. The three were shocked and so Naruto elaborated by explaining how he wanted to celebrate alone while also mourning his parents, given that he was an orphan on that day. The three were shocked, though it was both Harry and Ron, given that they didn't know much about him until now. While Naruto only told them half of the truth about himself, needless to say the three were saddened by the blonde's childhood. "Blimey," Ron said in disbelief. "Yup, that's why whenever it's my birthday I generally celebrate it alone as the people from my home tend to ruin it on that day," Naruto said softly. "Like I said Naruto, you got me, Harry and Ron. You're not alone anymore," Hermione said, putting a hand on his shoulder. Naruto looks at her and then looks at Harry and Ron as they also do the same. With that Naruto smiled a true smile so to speak and thanked them. The three smiled at him and soon they decided to celebrate his birthday with some of the leftover chocolate they had on the train ride. For once in his life, Naruto had the best birthday in his life. Chapter 10. Halloween. Quidditch pitch. Harry and Oliver walk outside to an open field to go over the basics of Quidditch. Oliver brought the equipment that he's going to show Harry. Quidditch is easy enough to understand, each team has 7 players, 3 chasers, 2 beaters, 1 keeper, and a seeker, which is you. He points to Harry as he opened the trunk showing the equipment, which was 3 balls, 2 of them tan, while the other is red. Oliver first shows the red one, this one's a quaffle, now the chasers handle the quaffle and try to put it through one of those 3 hoops he said as he points to the pitch that has 3 hoops on both sides. The keeper, which is me, defends the hoops he said as he tossed the ball over to Harry, "With me so far?" he asked. Harry tosses the ball back, "I think so, what are those?" he asked, pointing to the 2 chain tan balls. Oliver looked at the 2 chain balls. "You better take this," he said to Harry as he handed him the bat while bending down to release one of the balls. The ball flew up faster than a speeding bullet. "Careful now, it's coming back," he warned as the ball came down. Harry readies the bat and hits the ball hard as it soars through a statue opening. "Not bad, Potter, you'd make a fair beater." "Oh," he said, shoving Harry out of the way as the ball shot into Oliver's arm. Oliver manages to put the ball back into the trunk after a brief struggle. "Bludger nasty little buggers," he said as he opened the small compartment of the trunk. "But the only ball you have to worry about is this, the golden snitch," he said, showing a small golden ball as he hands it to Harry. Harry was amazed by the ball. "I like this ball," he said. "Ah, you like it now, just wait, it's wicked fast and damn near impossible to see," Oliver explained. "What do I do with it?" Harry asked. "You catch it before the other team's seeker, you catch this, the game is over, and we win," Oliver said as the snitch shows off 2 wings and flies in the air. "Wow," Harry said. Soon the two practiced for a bit. Charms class. The class listened to what their charms professor, Flitwick, had to say as they learned about levitation. One of the wizard's most rudimentary skills is levitation, the ability to make objects fly, Flitwick stated. "Now do you all have your feathers?" he asked the class as they showed their feathers. "Good, now don't forget the nice wrist movement we've been practicing, Swish and flick, everyone," he said, which the students repeated. "Good, and enunciate, Wingardium Leviosa, off you begin," he motioned for them to start. "Wingardium Leviosa," the students chanted as they tried the charm. Naruto managed to do the charm just fine along with Harry and Hermione. Ron, however, is in a bind. "Wingardium Leviosa," Ron said as he attempted the charm only to fail miserably. Hermione sees the redhead's problem. "Stop, stop, stop, you're going to take someone's eye out, besides you're saying it wrong, it's Leviosa, not Leviosa," she explained, which ticked off Ron. "You do it then, if you're so clever, go on," he states rather annoyed. Hermione gets up and swishes her wand. "Wingardium Leviosa," she said casually as the feather begins to levitate high into the air. Everybody watched as Ron slams his head on his book dejectedly. "Oh, well done. See here, everyone. Ms. Granger's done it." "Oh, splendid," Flitwick states happily. All was well until a boom sound was heard. Everybody turns to see Seamus with his face and robes covered in soot, his hair shot back and his feather burned up, looking like he had TNT explode on him, as if he were in a Looney Tunes cartoon. "I think we're going to need another feather over here," Professor Seamus states as he coughs out smoke. After class. Naruto, Harry, Neville, Ron and some of the boys were walking through the courtyard with the other students. "It's Leviosa, not Leviosa, honestly she's a nightmare, no wonder she hasn't got any friends," Ron ranted with some of the boys except Naruto, Harry and Neville agreeing. As Ron ranted, they saw Hermione sniffle and walk away. Naruto and Harry turned to Ron with a glare. What the hell is wrong with you, Ron? If what you said was true, then what are we? Naruto retorts, smacking Ron upside in the head as he goes after Hermione. Ah bloody hell, he hits hard, Ron said holding his head in pain. Harry looks at Ron and shakes his head in disappointment. He's right though, aren't we her friends, Ron? Harry asked as Ron sighs and nods. Outside the girls' bathroom. Naruto followed Hermione to the girls' bathroom. Come on Hermione, I'm sure Ron didn't mean it, the blonde said as he pleaded for his friend to come out of the bathroom. Why should I if I'm just a bother to all of you? She said between sobs. That's not true, you know it's not, he replied. Naruto listened to the girl as she continued sobbing. Hermione, don't you remember what you said to me in potions class? We're family now, if they don't want it, then they're missing out on a great friend, and you Hermione, you're my best friend, and I can never thank you enough, Naruto said softly. Hermione was shocked at what she heard Naruto said, especially her being Naruto's best friend given that's all he ever wanted. Naruto heard her sobs getting quieter. Naruto, can I just be alone for a while? She asked. Naruto sighed, take all the time you need, he said sadly as he walked away. Great Hall night time. It was the night of Halloween as the Great Hall's decorations have changed to fit in with the holiday. Everyone was having a wonderful time as they ate candy and chatted amongst themselves. Where's Hermione? Harry asked. Neville spoke as he gulped down some candy. Parvati Patil said that she wouldn't come out of the girls' bathroom, she said that she's been in there all afternoon crying, he explained. Harry looks at Ron with a WTF expression. The redhead turns to see Naruto having a dark look on his face. Hey, I said I was sorry, Ron retorts. Apologize to Hermione, not me, you idiot, and you better do so, otherwise you wouldn't like what I have in store with you, and I never go back on my word when I say you wouldn't like it, Naruto said rather darkly. Ron looked rather pale at what he had just heard, whereas Harry sweat dropped at the scene. Just as he said that, Professor Quirrell bursts into the hall. Troll in the dungeon. Troll in the dungeon. He yells out frantically as everyone stops what they are doing and looks at him. Thought you ought to know, he said before fainting. Soon everyone screamed and as they started to panic, Dumbledore got up from his seat, silly Ians. He yells out, everyone stops. Everyone please do not panic. Now, prefects will lead their houses back to their dormitories, teachers will follow me to the dungeons, he said. Soon every prefect from their respective houses led them away to the dorms. Gryffindor, keep up please and stay alert. Percy stated, leading his house back to the dormitory. How did Troll get in? Harry asked. Not by itself, trolls are really stupid, probably someone's playing a prank, Ron replied. Naruto pulls both Harry and Ron to the side. What? Ron questioned. Guys, Hermione is still out there, she doesn't know about the troll, come on let's go. He said. Harry nods and follows the blonde, with Ron catching up to them. The three ran through the dark corridors of the castle, and as they ran through the corridor they stopped to hide as they found a silhouette of the troll dragging its club as the troll entered a room. The troll's going into the girls' bathroom, Ron warned. Oh no. Hermione. Naruto exclaimed as he ran into the bathroom. Girls' bathroom. Hermione walks out of the stall after crying for some time. As she washes her hands, she stopped when she heard a grunting noise. She turns to see a troll standing there. She gasps and backs up to a stall in fear. The troll uses its club and smashes through the stalls. Someone help. She cries as Naruto, Harry, and Ron arrive in time. The troll keeps smashing through the remaining stalls. Hey P-brain. Ron shouts as he throws a piece of wood at the troll's head, getting its attention. Hermione rushes out of the broken stall and under a sink, but the troll sees her and proceeds to break through them. Hermione. Naruto calls out to her as he brings out his wand, Vermilius. He yells out as he shoots red sparks at the troll. The beast covers its face from the sparks, grunting in pain. Hermione runs out and into Naruto's arms. Guys, I think we should go now. Harry states as the troll turns to them, pissed off. The four got out of the bathroom, with the troll chasing them. The troll trips the four with its club, sending them tumbling to the floor. As the troll was going to raise its club and swing at them, Naruto was scared that he and his friends won't make it. Suddenly it seems that time slowed down or rather stopped, well only in Naruto's perspective, when all of a sudden he heard a voice in his head. Do you want to save them? The voice said in his head. Naruto hears the voice and asks, who are you and what are you? Now is not the time to be asking those questions. Like I said, do you want to save your friends? The voice said gruffly. Naruto nods, you know I want to, tell me what to do. The voice responds, charge your chakra and channel it to your wand like you would with your magic. Show that abomination what it means to cross us and your friends. Go Naruto. The voice yells out. The troll was about to swing at them when all of a sudden a barrage of red sparks staggered the troll. Harry, Ron, and Hermione looked to see what happened and it was Naruto who shot those sparks. What they didn't notice at the moment was the change in Naruto's appearance as his hair looks wild like an untamed beast, his nails sharp, his teeth turned sharp, his whiskers feral, and his eyes red and slit. Naruto glares at the troll with pure hatred and readies his wand, which seems to be glowing through its gems, as if it were amplifying his magic mixed with his chakra. Vermilius. He shouts, firing multiple red sparks making the troll grunt in pain. Hermione and Harry helped out Naruto as well, but the troll somehow grabbed Harry. Luckily Harry shouts periculum. As he fired some sparks at the troll as the troll grunted in pain releasing Harry. Ron, Hermione said as the troll was swinging blindly. Swish and flick, she continued. Wingardium Leviosa. Ron said as the club the troll was holding levitated away from his hand. The troll looks up only to have the club slam his head hard, knocking the troll out and rendering the troll unconscious. Naruto soon turned back to normal after the dust was clear and the four looked at each other before they checked out the troll. Is it dead? Hermione asked. I don't think so, just unconscious, Harry said, stowing his wand away. Just then, McGonagall, Snape and Quirrell arrive at the scene looking shocked. Oh. Oh my goodness. Explain yourselves, the four of you. McGonagall demanded. Harry and Ron were babbling, and right as Naruto was about to step in Hermione interrupted, it's my doing, Professor McGonagall. The three looked at the brunette in shock. I went looking for the troll, I read about them, and I thought I could handle it, but I was wrong. If Naruto, Harry, and Ron hadn't come and found me I'd probably be dead, she half lied. McGonagall shook her head in disbelief. Be that as it may, it was an extremely foolish thing to do, she said, as Harry noticed a large gash on Snape's leg, which Snape covered up. I would have expected much more rational behavior on your part, Ms. Granger. 5 points will be taken from Gryffindor for your serious lack of judgment, she says as she turns to the three boys. As for you three gentlemen, I just hope you realize how fortunate you are. Not many students, let alone first years, can take on a full-grown mountain troll and live to tell the tale. 5 points will be added to each of you for sheer dumb luck, she states as she leaves with Snape. Perhaps you ought to go, might wake up, Quirrell said as the four students left. The troll moaned, frightening the timid teacher. Gryffindor common room. As the four were walking back to the common room, Naruto was thinking, man, who or what was that voice in my head? Naruto shakes off that thought, probably focusing on it later. Now that they have arrived, first thing was first. Hermione, look, I'm sorry for what I said earlier today, and it's my fault for almost getting you killed in the first place. Ron apologizes. Hermione smiled and accepted the apology. The four laughed it off and decided to call it a night after what just happened. As they were about to go to their respective dorms, Hermione calls Naruto for a moment. What's up? Asked Naruto when he was hugged by Hermione. Thank you for coming to save me, she whispered. Naruto blushed at the moment but smiled softly. It's okay, that's what friends are for. After all, you are my best friend and one of my precious ones, he said. The brunette looks at him. Really? She asks. Yes, after what happened tonight I made a vow that I'll protect the ones I hold dear to my heart, no matter what, believe it, he said. The brunette smiled at his words and nodded. The two wished each other good night, and as Naruto was about to enter the dorm, he sees Harry and Ron smirking at him. Naruto, seeing Ron smirking, decided to retort, just because you apologized to Hermione, it doesn't mean that you're getting away that easily. I still have that surprise, I promise. Ron, looking like he's seen a ghost, said, and now let's be rational here, mate, surely you wouldn't do it to me? He asked. Oh, but Naruto was smiling like a Cheshire cat for what he's about to unleash, as Ron gulped in fear, while Harry shook his head at what's going on. The next day, Ron and a couple of other boys who made fun of Hermione ran down the hallway covered in orange paint and glitter as everybody laughed at them. Chapter 11. First game of the season. Gryffindor vs Slytherin. Great Hall morning time. The squad sat at their table as they ate breakfast and went over what they're studying, and as they talked, Ron noticed Harry not eating for some reason. Come on, take a toast, mate, Ron said as he offered Harry a piece of toast. Not hungry, Harry said. Dude, you're gonna need your strength today, so eat something, Naruto said as he drank some milk. Once again, Harry refuses to eat as he looks around the hall to see Snape talking to McGonagall regarding the events that happened on Halloween. Soon Snape was about to leave when Harry notices Snape limping. That explains the blood, Harry mutters after Snape left. Blood? Asked Hermione, which Harry motions for them to listen. Listen, on Halloween night, I'm guessing Snape let the troll in as a distraction so he could try to get past the three-headed dog, but instead he got bitten, so that's why he's limping, Harry explained as he whispered to the group. I don't know, man, it seems kind of far-fetched. Why would you want to go anywhere near it? Naruto asked, rather unsure. Harry stopped to think this through and he remembered something from the Gringotts article. That day when we were at Gringotts, Hagrid took something out of the vaults and claimed it was top-secret Hogwarts business, he explained. So what you are saying, Hermione said as she figured out the piece of the puzzle. Yup, that's what the dog's guarding, that's what Snape wants, Harry claims when all of a sudden the birds come to deliver some parcels. Both Cage and Hedwig drop off packages for their masters, as their masters thank them. And so the squad decided to open Harry's package first, and it was a broomstick, but not just any broomstick, it was the Nimbus 2000. At first they didn't know who got it for Harry until they learned that it was Professor McGonagall who bought the broom. Now for Naruto's package they opened it to see what it was. "Is that a wand bracer?" asked Hermione. Naruto nods. "Yup, I figured that if I'm going to be a perfect wizard, I might need some good equipment," Naruto said, to which everyone in the squad agreed. 2 weeks later, Quidditch pitch. Naruto, Ron, Hermione and Hagrid were at the stands observing the game along with the other Gryffindor students. Each stand was filled with students from other houses as they watched the game as well, whereas in the center tower, the teachers were there. Given that this was Naruto's first time seeing a Quidditch match, let alone a sports match, he was bound to be excited. With Harry and the other teammates got dressed for their first match of the season. Harry was nervous given that it's his first time playing the sport. He looks at his teammates and they seem ready and confident as they grab their equipment. "Scared, Harry?" Oliver asked. Harry turns to the captain, "A little bit," he said nervously. "Don't worry, I felt the same way before my first game," he explained. "What happened?" asked Harry. "Don't really remember, took a bludger to the head 2 minutes into the game, woke up in the hospital wing a week later," he said nonchalantly, making Harry gulp. "On your brooms everyone," the captain declared, with the team acknowledging the order. Soon the gates opened and both teams flew outside circling the pitch while everyone cheered. "Hello and welcome to Hogwarts' first Quidditch match of the season. Today's game is Gryffindor vs Slytherin," Lee Jordan announced over the microphone. The players took position in a circle while the Seekers flew a bit higher than the rest. Madam Hooch comes with the trunk holding the balls and before she begins she demands a nice clean game, especially from the Slytherin team. The first balls released are the bludgers followed by the golden snitch. The snitch is out of sight as the next ball released is the quaffle ball. The quaffle is released and the game begins. Lee shouts as every house cheers. The Gryffindor team takes possession of the quaffle and flies past the Slytherin team. The person holding the quaffle, Angelina Johnson, made their first score. Angelina Johnson scores 10 points for Gryffindor. Lee announced as he pressed the button to add the points. "Yes." Naruto shouts as he pumps his fist while everybody cheers. The Slytherins were about to make their score until the keeper of the Gryffindor team deflected the ball back. Soon the Gryffindor team scored another 10 points. However, it seems that the Slytherin team decided to cheat as the captain of that team knocked down the Gryffindor team's keeper with a bludger. Most of the houses other than Slytherin were booing at that action. "Those assholes." Naruto shouts angrily at the Slytherin team as the others were agreeing with what Naruto said. As the Slytherins keep on scoring, the snitch comes into Harry's line of sight and he chases after it. Naruto notices this and cheers loudly. As Harry chases the snitch, his broom is getting jinxed as the broom is trying to knock him off balance. "Whoa whoa." Harry shouts, holding on for dear life. "What's going on with Harry's broom?" asked Hagrid as he tried to get a better view. Hermione looks through her binoculars and finds the problem. "It's Snape," Hermione claims. "What?" Naruto and Ron asked. "He's jinxing the broom," she replies. "What do we do then?" Ron said, sounding worried. Naruto steps in, "Leave it to us," he said as Hermione nods and they both head to the teachers' stands while Ron watches the situation. Teachers' stands. Both Uzumaki and Granger crouched over the stands moving silently as if they were shinobi. Oh, if only she knew about the Uzumaki boy. "You ready?" Naruto asks the brunette. She nods and does the flame spell Acarnum Inflamer. She whispers as she points it at Snape's robes, setting it on fire. "8 Then let's go," the blonde as he leaves with the brunette. Snape continues the charm, not knowing his robes are on fire until some teacher notices it. Snape, seeing his robes on fire, tried to extinguish it but at the same time he accidentally fell back on the teacher that noticed the fire and also Quirrell. Quidditch field. Harry's broom went back to normal and soon he flew after the snitch. "Go!" shouted Ron along with Hagrid. Naruto and Hermione return to the stand and they watch Harry fly towards the snitch. He and another seeker from the Slytherin team were chasing after the snitch while also trying to knock each other down. As the snitch dived down, so did the seekers, but since they were approaching the ground, the Slytherin seeker backed out leaving Harry to be the one to chase it. Harry sped up to the snitch but it was still too fast. That was when Harry decided to do the impossible. Harry slowly but steadily stood up on his broom and took a couple of steps forward with his arm reaching out to grab the yellow ball. But he reached too far and toppled off the broom instead. "Wah!" Harry shouts as he tumbled to the ground. Everyone gasped at the scene as they looked at Harry who seemed to be ready to throw up. "Looks like he's gonna be sick," Hagrid said turning away as he doesn't want to see someone vomit in public. Luckily it wasn't vomit as it was the golden snitch that Harry threw up. "He's got the snitch." Harry Potter receives 150 points for catching the snitch. Lee exclaimed. Madam Hooch comes out to the field and blows the whistle. "Gryffindor wins," she announced. Gryffindor, Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw cheered while Slytherin sulked in defeat. Harry raises the snitch in his hand as everyone cheers. That was awesome. Naruto said excitedly as he pumped his fist. Chapter 12. Close Encounters of the Ninth Kind. Gryffindor Common Room Nighttime. It was around nighttime when Naruto and his friends went back to the common room. They had just celebrated Harry's victory in his first Quidditch match. Man, that was awesome, Harry. Seeing you do all those tricks on the broom. Naruto said. Harry chuckles. Well, it was nothing compared to how you took down that troll, Harry states. Yeah, but you guys helped, so there's that, Naruto retorts. Well, as much as I would like to compare both your feats, I believe we have to discuss the more important issue, such as why Snape was jinxing your broom, Hermione states. Right, I think we should talk with Hagrid about this tomorrow, Harry replied. The group nodded in affirmation. Soon they all wished each other good night as they went to their respective dorms to sleep. Naruto's mindscape. Naruto wakes up only to find himself in a rather strange location. Where the heck am I? He asked himself as he looked around the area to see himself in a sewer-like labyrinth. He trudges through the knee-deep water for a while until he stops in front of some hole with a giant cage. Lumos, Naruto said as he uses his wand for a light, only to see something that will shock him. The boy looks up to see a giant orange fox behind the cage, and the boy backs up slowly as the giant fox wakes up and looks at the boy with its two large red slitted eyes. The fox grinned, and as Naruto was about to get close to the cage, the fox stabbed its claws at the gate, making the boy fall. So we finally meet. I've been trying to reach you, the giant fox said as the boy got up. Why you're TT, the Naruto stuttered. The fox grinned, showing its fangs, the nine-tailed fox. The fox finished for the boy. How are you still alive? You're supposed to be dead. Naruto said as he pointed at the fox accusingly. The tailed beast scoffed, idiot. I cannot die. My body is nothing more than a large massive chakra, the tailed beast explained to the boy. Then how are you here then? Naruto asked. How else, brat? I'm sealed inside you. The fox said as he pointed to the blonde wizard. Naruto looks at the fox in shock, and that was when he realized why he was hated by everyone back home, why they would always beat and try to kill him, why he was an orphan. It was all because of the fox. It's your fault, you're the reason why my life was a living hell back home. Naruto yells at the fox, sounding angry. You think I wanted this? Why don't you blame the third Hokage, as he's the one to announce your status as a Jinchuriki? The fox retorted. Naruto winced, but he remembered that whenever he asked the old man about why he was hated, the old man would brush off that subject and always arrived after the boy had gotten beat up by the villagers. So you finally get it now? The fox asked. The blonde looks down. Maybe if you hadn't attacked the village, then I would have had a chance. At what? Becoming a tool for the village. The puppet. Face it, kid, that's what a shinobi is, a tool whose only purpose is to live and die for the village. The nine-tails snarled. At least I would have had a normal life. Naruto screamed. The fox laughed at that response. A normal life. PFFT, yeah right, when has anything been normal for you besides if it weren't for me, you wouldn't have discovered your magical abilities and made friends with the people of this world, so if anything, you should be grateful, brat. The fox retorted, sounding annoyed. Naruto wanted to deny those claims, but he knew the fox was right. Looking back, if he had still chosen to be a shinobi instead of a wizard, he wouldn't have met his friends here and wouldn't have seen the new world. Do you finally realize it? The fox asked as it lay down. Naruto nodded sadly. You're right, the villagers hated me for something we didn't ask for. If anything, I'm sorry for yelling at you for telling the truth, Naruto said to the fox. The fox looks at the boy. It's fine, kid, you suffered enough, so I figured you needed to vent out your issues, the fox said. Naruto looked at the fox in surprise and responded, well, since we're in the new world, this is a perfect chance to start off fresh for the both of us, now that we don't have to worry about being targeted for being alive. So what do you say, do you want to be allies in this new world? The fox looks at the blonde in shock. For as long as he can remember, from being used by Madara to being sealed by the Uzumaki clan, never in his life had he ever been offered friendship by a human, not since his friendship with the Sage of Six Paths himself. Whatever, kid, so long as you don't annoy me like my previous jailer, then I don't see a problem with being allies. Now I believe you stayed here long enough, so get out already. The fox said. Naruto looked at his tenant and smiled before he was being pulled back to the real world. The fox thinks back to his meeting with Naruto and smirks. Looks like the boy is beginning to interest me, the fox said to himself. Chapter 13. An Unexpected Friendship. Naruto wakes up after meeting the Nine Tails in his mindscape and learning the truth about why he's hated back home. At first he wants to finally tell his friends the truth about himself, but then he thinks for a moment about the timing of this revelation. He decides to hold off telling the actual truth to them for right now, as they are still focused on why Snape was jinxing Harry's broom and why he was trying to get past a three-headed dog during Halloween. The boy gets out of bed and dresses for class. He gets out of the dorm and sees Harry, Ron, and Hermione. Morning, guys. Naruto greets the three. They soon greet Naruto, and the four head off to the Great Hall for breakfast before going to their classes. Great Hall lunchtime. It was around lunchtime, the four young wizards were in the Great Hall discussing something about their plan to talk to Hagrid about Snape. "Hey Naruto, so we're going to head to Hagrid's hut to talk about what happened this afternoon. Want to come?" Hermione asked. Naruto nods and is about to say more when he hears a commotion. The four turn to see what was going on, and it was Draco Malfoy and his cronies harassing someone around the Slytherin table. That someone appears to be Daphne Greengrass. From what it looks like, she wasn't enjoying being around Malfoy and his posse. The squad frowned at what was going on, but what happened next will shock them. "It would be wise to get your hands off me, Malfoy," Greengrass said coldly. Malfoy smirks, "Come on, surely you wouldn't mind being with your fellow Slytherins, no? After all, we are living in the same house," Malfoy said smugly as his posse agreed with him wholeheartedly. "Just because we belong in the same house doesn't make us friends, leave me alone or else," she threatens. Malfoy scoffs, or else what he was about to finish until all of a sudden, a fist locked onto his jaw. Malfoy rubs his jaw in pain and looks to see who hit him, when it was actually Naruto who did that. Everybody in the Great Hall was watching what was going on. Naruto looks at Malfoy in disgust. "You bully people from other houses, and you bully your own housemates for not agreeing with you. Have you ever learned to take a hint?" Naruto said to the boy in venom. Malfoy seethes at the boy, "Uzumaki. You'll pay for this." He lashes out. "I like to see you try," Naruto said in response as he positions himself in a fighting stance ready to fight. As everybody watches, Hermione tries intervening to stop the fight, with Daphne trying to do the same. But before the fight was about to begin, Professor Snape came to stop the fight. "What is going on here?" Snape demands as he looks at the students. Malfoy, being the coward he is, decides to say, "It was Naruto and Daphne. They tried to fight me." Naruto was furious and wanted to get his hands on the boy. "What? There's no way in hell I would do that," he ranted, and as he wanted to say more, a hand grabbed his shoulder. He looks to see it was Daphne, who looks at him to be quiet. "My apologies for the situation, I was being harassed by Malfoy and his cronies. If it weren't for Naruto intervening, I would have been the one starting the fight, so punish me, not him," she said while Naruto looks at her in shock for defending him. Snape looks at her with a raised eyebrow. "Very well then, 5 points from Gryffindor and Slytherin. Let this be a lesson, Mr. Uzumaki and Ms. Greengrass, the next time you start a fight. Mr. Malfoy, detention in my office this afternoon," Snape declared. As Snape walks away, Malfoy and his posse look at the two in anger. In response, Naruto flips the bird on them as he and Greengrass walk away. As everything went back to normal at the Great Hall, the Gryffindor table was talking about what happened. "There's no way Naruto would go up and defend a Slytherin from Malfoy, let alone someone like her," Ron said. "Oh, stop it, Ron. I'm sure Naruto had his reasons, I think," Hermione said. "Come on, let's leave Naruto alone with her while we head on to Hagrid's," Harry said as he and his friends went to the hut. But Naruto and Daphne were walking around trying to get away from Malfoy and his crew. It was rather awkward between the two as they haven't interacted with each other as much. Daphne breaks the silence. "Why did you do it?" she asked. Naruto was oblivious to the question. "Why do what?" Daphne elaborates. "Why did you help me out back there? You could have minded your own business back there and left me alone to deal with the situation, so once again I ask, why did you help me out?" Naruto looked at her and then replied, "I don't know, to be honest." She looks at the boy as if he grew a second head. "What do you mean you don't know? You must have at least had a reason to help," she nearly shouted. Naruto only smiled. "Maybe you're right, I could have had a reason, or maybe I just don't like bullies," he said. The two found somewhere to sit down as Naruto explains further. "Growing up as a kid, I was treated badly by the people from my old home for something out of my control. I was bullied endlessly and mocked for having my own dreams and ambitions. It was somewhere around my childhood where I saw a girl my age getting bullied by some people who were treating her for being different, and I just couldn't let that happen. I stepped in even though I knew I'll get my ass beat." As Naruto explained further, Daphne listened intently as she realized that the boy had a good heart, even though she knew that was rather rare for a person. "Despite everything you've dealt with as a kid, you still haven't broken as a person, which is rather amazing," she stated. Naruto nods. "I mean, what's the point? If the people won't accept me for who I am, then they aren't worth trying to find acceptance towards," he said. The two talked to each other for quite some time as they got to know each other. "You know, Uzumaki, you, Potter, and Granger aren't so bad for a couple Gryffindors, it feels rather nice," Greengrass said. "Well, my philosophy here is that there aren't good or bad houses, it's just the people that define who they are," Naruto stated. Daphne looks at him. "Really then? Well, I'll keep that in mind then, but thank you for helping me back there." Naruto smiled. "Well, if you want, we could be friends. I could introduce you to my friends so that way you could see that there aren't bad Gryffindors," he said as he held out his hand. Daphne thinks for a moment and then she accepts. "Alright then I'll take your word for it," she said as she shook his hand signifying their friendship. For once Daphne smiled a rare smile as she had finally made a new friend. The two left to their respective dorms as they wished each other a nice day. Gryffindor Common Room nighttime. It was nighttime at the Gryffindor Common Room. As Naruto enters, he sees Hermione waiting for him. "Where were you?" she asked and so Naruto explained the situation. Granger was surprised at first, but figured that Naruto had the ability to make friends with the most unlikely people, so she accepted his reason. She also explained to Naruto about what happened at Hagrid's hut, learning that the three-headed dog's name is Fluffy, and someone by the name of Nicholas Flamel is involved in this mess. Chapter 14. My Holiday at Hogwarts. 1 month later. It was the month of December, as Naruto and his friends got used to living at Hogwarts. Naruto's list of friends have grown with Astoria Greengrass being one of his latest friends, as she thanked him for both helping Daphne out against Draco Malfoy and also being the one to make her smile more. Speaking of Daphne Greengrass, she soon made a friendship with Harry, Hermione, and Neville, as Naruto introduced her to them in order to show her that there are good Gryffindors. She also made friends with Ron, albeit at first it was a rocky start, but then the two became comfortable knowing each other. Though it seems to be that Daphne has taken quite an interest with Harry, but who knows. Also with Naruto, he and the nine-tailed fox got to know each other a lot more ever since their first official meeting, and although the fox can be a bit annoyed by Naruto, it seems that he doesn't mind him since he's not like many of his previous hosts. Anyways, Naruto was outside of the castle with Hermione by his side when he saw the snow falling to the ground. "Amazing," he said. Hermione chuckles, "This is your first time seeing snow?" she asked, receiving a nod from the blonde. They then see Hagrid bringing in a large pine tree. "Why's Hagrid bringing a pine tree with him?" Naruto asked. "He's doing that to decorate for Christmas," Hermione said. "What's Christmas?" Naruto asked. The brunette turns to the boy in shock. "Why, you're joking, right?" she asks, which Naruto shakes his head. "Right, you see, Christmas is a holiday where one spends time with their loved ones and exchange gifts to one another," she said as Naruto understood and nodded his head. He thinks about what she said as he glanced at her. She noticed this and asked, "What are you thinking about?" "And nothing, just thought about what you said, that's all," Naruto said, albeit he's secretly blushing. "Right, well let's head back, I need to pack," she states as she grabs his wrist and pulls him along. Naruto asks why, and she says that she's going home for the holidays to celebrate with her family. Naruto was sad at first since she won't be in the castle for the holidays, but then he had an idea on what to give her for a gift before she left. Dumbledore's office 1 hour later. Naruto enters Professor Dumbledore's office to talk with him regarding his dilemma. As the boy walked inside the office, the old man noticed him. "Is there something I can help you with, Mr. Uzumaki?" Dumbledore asked kindly. Naruto nods, "Yes professor, I need to go to Diagon Alley and back, so I was wondering if it was possible for me to take a broom and head over there," Naruto asked. Dumbledore chuckled, "I can't allow a first-year student to take a ride on a broomstick off of school grounds," he said, disappointing the boy. "But tell me, what is it you acquire at Diagon Alley?" he asked. Naruto thought for a moment and said, "Well, you see, there's this girl," and before he could finish, Dumbledore smiled, already knowing where this was going. "Follow me, Naruto," he said, as the boy nodded and followed him. As Dumbledore was going through a chest, Naruto observes the room as there's a lot of books, paintings, and paperwork, including the majestic bird he saw when he was in the castle back in July. "Here you go," said Dumbledore as he hands Naruto a small pouch and motioned him to a fireplace. Naruto was confused by the pouch, but then the old wizard explained to him that inside the pouch holds flu powder, and he explained to him how to use the powder. After a brief explanation from Dumbledore, Naruto thanks him as he goes to the fireplace and with a handful of powder, he says where he wanted to go before dropping the powder and disappearing in green flames. Dumbledore smiled after the boy disappeared and thinks whoever the young girl was would most likely be happy this upcoming holiday. But the squad. Hermione was walking through the Great Hall with a cart when she saw the decorations that were put in place for the holidays. She walks over to where Ron and Harry are playing chess. "Knight to e5," Harry stated as his chess piece moved towards its destination. "Queen to e5," Ron stated as his chess piece moved into position and took out Harry's. "That's totally barbaric," Hermione said as she watched what was going on. "That's wizard's chess," Ron said as he noticed her card. "I see you've packed," he said. "I see you haven't," the brunette retorted with a raised eyebrow. "Change of plans, my parents are heading over to Romania to visit my brother Charlie as he's studying dragons over there," Ron explained. "Good, you and Naruto can help Harry, he's going to the library to find information about Nicholas Flamel," she said. "We've looked 100 of times," Ron complained. "Not in the restricted section, Happy Christmas," she said before walking out of the hall. "Also guys, have you by any chance seen Naruto? I couldn't find him after he helped me pack," Hermione said. The boys shook their heads no as the girl sighed and walked out. Hogwarts Station nighttime. Hermione stood alongside the other students as they awaited the trains, ready to go home for the holidays. The brunette looks at the castle sadly since she at least wanted to say goodbye to her best friend before she left. Hermione, wait. The girl heard as she turned to see Naruto running towards her. Naruto, what are you doing here? She asked even though she was glad he came to see her before she left. Well, you said that people exchange gifts on Christmas, Naruto said as he brought out a wrapped box. Hermione smiled as she took the present. Well, thank you for coming to see me and giving me this gift, she said. Naruto smiled. Yeah, no worries, after all you're my best friend, he said. She nods and as the train arrives, she gives the blonde boy a hug to which he did the same before the two went their separate ways after waving goodbye to each other. Christmas Day, Gryffindor common room. Harry wakes up and gets out of his dorm to head to the common room. As he was on the balcony, he overlooked the decorated common room to see his two friends already there. Merry Christmas, guys. Harry said happily. Merry Christmas, Harry. The two replied. Harry walks up to them and asks what Ron was wearing, to which he replied his mom made that sweater and one was made for Harry as well, which shocked him as he never got presents. As the three boys were talking and eating, Harry finds a silver-wrapped present with a note on it. Who's it from? Naruto asked. Let's see, your father left this in my possession before he died, it is time it was returned to you. Use it well, Harry said as he read the note, since there's no indication of who sent it. He opens the present to find a cloak much to his confusion. He puts it on, only to find his body missing. That's no ordinary cloak, that's an invisibility cloak. Ron exclaimed. Harry was shocked, but Naruto was amazed. Then he thought of an idea. Hey guys, why don't we use the cloak to get into the restricted section of the library, Naruto explained with the two agreeing with his plan. Chapter 15. Mirror of Eyes. Library nighttime. The three boys walked through the dark section of the library to find what they were looking for. As they arrived at the restricted section, the three began searching the books of that section for any info on Nicholas Flamel. Famous fire eaters, Ron said as he looked at a book. 15th century fiends, Naruto said as he looked between the books. Flamel, Nicholas Flamel, where are you? Harry said as he took out a book and opened it only for a face shooting out of the page. Ah! The face screamed. Harry shuts the book as both Naruto and Ron look at him with wide eyes. Who's there? The three turned around to see a lantern light approaching as Harry accidentally dropped his lantern. Shit. You guys go, Naruto said as the two looked at him as if he was crazy. What about you? Asked the two. Don't worry about me, just go. He whispered as he found a place to hide while keeping silent. The three escaped right as Filch came into the restricted section. Who is it? Show yourself. Filch shouts while looking at the restricted section, only to see a dropped lantern. He was looking for the culprit only to find no one, so he continued examining the dropped lantern. But Harry and Ron. The two made it out to the hallway and soon split. As Ron leaves, Harry notices that Filch's cat is following him and so he goes on another path. Harry made it to the other path only to find Snape and Quirrell, and from what it looks like Snape is interrogating Quirrell. Harry was sneaking past them while listening in on the conversation. Severus, I thought, Quirrell stammered. You don't want me as your enemy, Quirrell, Snape threatened. What do you mean? You know perfectly well what I mean, Snape said before he stopped and turned around as Harry held his breath due to being caught. Snape slowly reached out towards Harry as the boy backed up quietly and slowly before pointing his finger at Quirrell. We'll meet again soon when you've had time to decide where your loyalty lies, he said before turning to see Filch with a broken lantern. Oh professors, I found this in the restricted section, it's still hot, that means a student is out of bed, he explained as Snape let go of Quirrell and followed the caretaker with Quirrell trailing behind. Harry sighs in relief and takes the opportunity to enter some room right next to him. As Harry enters the room, he finds it empty, except that there's a large mirror attached to the wall. The boy stares at the mirror and gasps in shock as he sees a man and a woman appear behind him in the mirror's reflection. Mom? The boy asks as the woman in the mirror smiles and nods. He turns to the man, Dad. Receiving the same response. Harry reaches out to touch the mirror only to feel the surface of the mirror as he sees his mom put his hand on his shoulder of Harry's reflection. The boy placed his hand on his shoulder, trying to feel his mother's touch. Gryffindor common room. Ron and Naruto are back at the common room waiting for Harry. Where is he? Naruto asked as Ron doesn't even know where he is. Soon Harry returned to the room. Guys. You've got to see this, he said as he and the boys left to see what was all the fuss about. The mirror room. The three arrived at the room to see what was all the fuss about, only to find a mirror. Come on you two, look, it's my parents, Harry said as he pointed to the mirror. Ron and Naruto were confused, but I only see myself, Ron said as Naruto agreed. Look properly. Go on, stand here, now look there, you see them, don't you? That's my dad, Harry said. Ron looked at the mirror and gasped, "That's me. Only I'm a head boy and holding a Quidditch cup. Bloody hell, I'm a Quidditch captain too. I look good, Harry. Do you think this mirror shows the future?" Ron asked. Harry shakes his head, "How can it? My parents are dead," he said. Ron sighed before turning to see Naruto looking surprised and smiling. "Hey Naruto, what do you see?" Ron asked. "I'm sorry, what?" he said, turning to them looking dazed. "You alright there, mate?" Ron asked. Naruto nods. "I'm fine, just tired, you know what, I'm going to bed," the blonde said as he left. Ron looks at Harry. "What's up with him?" asks Ron as Harry shrugged. What Naruto saw in the mirror was an older version of him with a certain brunette, along with 3 kids and 2 strangers, one of them a blonde-haired man and a red-haired woman. The next day. Harry was still thinking about what he saw in the mirror and why his friends couldn't see what he saw in the mirror. Ron and Naruto asked what was wrong, but Harry doesn't reply, so they figured to leave him be. The mirror room, nighttime. Harry stares at the mirror looking at his parents' reflection. He hears footsteps and turns around to see Dumbledore behind him. "Back again, Harry?" he asked as the boy got up and dusted himself. "I see you, like so many others, have discovered the delights of the mirror of your eyes. I trust by now you realize what it does?" he asked, which confused Harry. Dumbledore chuckled. "Let me give you a hint, the happiest man on earth would look into a mirror and see only himself, exactly as he is," he said. Harry was surprised as he understood what Dumbledore was trying to say. "So, it shows us what we want. Whatever we want?" Harry asked. "Yes and no, it shows us nothing more or less than the deepest, most desperate desires of our hearts. Now you, who have never known your family, you see them standing beside you, but remember this, Harry, this mirror gives us neither knowledge nor truth. Men have wasted away before it, not knowing if what they have seen is real or even possible," he said, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Tonight the mirror will be moved and it would be wise to not to go looking for it." Harry understood, and before he went to bed, he asked Dumbledore what he saw in the mirror, to which he said he is holding a pair of thick woolen socks, which confused Harry, but after an explanation from the professor, Harry found it reasonable. What Harry didn't know was that Dumbledore lied, as what the old man actually saw was his old friend and lover, Gellert Grindelwald. Chapter 16. The Forbidden Forest. 1 month later. Harry and Ron were at the library sitting at a table going over various books. It wasn't till Naruto and Hermione came with a rather large book. The blonde dropped the book on the table, making Ron and Harry jump. "Hey guys, we just found out that we were looking at the wrong section this whole time," Naruto stated, looking rather sheepish about the situation. "You're kidding, right?" Harry said with his eye twitching dangerously, feeling as though they wasted a lot of time searching for something only to come up empty-handed. "How could I have been so stupid? I checked this out a few weeks ago for a bit of light reading," Hermione said as she looked over the pages of the book. "This is light." Ron deadpanned. The brunette gave a dirty look to the read. "Of course, here it is. Nicholas Flamel, the only known maker of the Philosopher's Stone," she read. Harry and Ron looked at each other and asked, "The what?" The brunette sighed at the two. "Honestly, do you two ever read? The Philosopher's Stone is a legendary substance with astonishing powers. It will turn any metal into gold and produces the elixir of life, which will make the drinker immortal," she read as the two wizards looked at her in shock. "Immortal?" Ron asked. "It means you'll never die," she explained. "I know what that means," Ron snapped as Harry tells him to be quiet. "Guys, listen to this," the blonde pointed out. "The only stone in existence belongs to Nicholas Flamel, the noted alchemist who celebrated his 665th birthday last year. Don't you guys get it? That's what Fluffy is guarding on the 3rd floor. That's what's under the trapdoor, the Philosopher's Stone," the blonde explained. The squad looked at each other, realizing if they needed more info, they needed to find Hagrid. Hagrid's hut, nighttime. The four ran to Hagrid's hut. Harry knocked on the door several times until Hagrid opened the door, wearing an apron and oven mitts. Hagrid looks at the four. "Oh, it's you four. Sorry, don't wish to be rude, but I'm in no fit state to entertain today," the half-giant said before closing the door. "We know about the Philosopher's Stone," they all stated. Hagrid reopened the door after hearing what they said. "Oh," he said before letting them in. "We think Snape is trying to steal the stone," Harry said. Hagrid shakes his head in disappointment. "Snape, blimey, Harry, you're still not on about that, are you?" he asked. The four tried to explain why Snape was trying to steal the stone, but Hagrid assures them that Snape is one of the teachers trying to protect the stone, which surprises the four. After a brief explanation regarding the whole Philosopher's Stone issue, the cauldron over by the fireplace started to rattle. Hagrid gasped and went over to the fireplace to take out the cauldron. He also took out a rather large egg that was inside the cauldron. "Ooh, hot hot." Hagrid yelped out as his hand burned, even though the mitts were supposed to help. He places the large egg on the table for all of them to see. Hagrid, what is that?" Harry asked. Hagrid didn't know what to say until Ron figured out what it was. "I know what that is. But Hagrid, how did you get one?" Ron asked. Hagrid at this point decided to explain how he got the egg, stating he won it at a pub from some stranger that wanted to get rid of it. The egg soon begins to hatch as pieces of the eggshell break apart, revealing a baby dragon. Is that a dragon? Hermione asked surprised. Amazing. A real-life dragon. Naruto said excitedly. It's not just a dragon. It's a Norwegian ridgeback. My brother Charlie works with these in Romania, Ron explained. Hagrid wiped a tear from his eyes. Isn't he beautiful? Oh, bless him, looks like he knows who his mummy is, isn't that right Norbert, said Hagrid. Norbert? The four questioned. Yeah, well he's got to have a name doesn't he? Hagrid retorted. The four chuckled at that response. Don't you Norbert? Hey Hagrid said as he uses his finger to point playfully at the dragon. The baby dragon moves away before hiccuping a small breath of fire that catches onto Hagrid's beard as the half-giant tries to put out the fire in his beard with his mitt. After explaining that Norbert might still need to be trained, he notices that someone was peeking from the outside. Who's that? He said as the four turned around to see who was outside the window as the person left. It's Malfoy, Harry said angrily. Oh dear, Hagrid stated. The four soon left Hagrid's hut and as they walked back to the castle, they decided to talk about Hagrid's dragon. Hagrid always wanted a dragon, he told me that when we first met him, Harry explained. Oh yeah, Naruto remembered. It's crazy and what's worse is that Malfoy knows, Ron explained. I don't understand, is it that bad? Harry asked. As the four went up the staircase, they were caught by Professor McGonagall, who was in her nightgown. Good evening, she said. The group sees Malfoy behind her smirking at them. The group glares at him. McGonagall's office. The professor sat at her desk looking at the four students, while Malfoy was standing several feet away from them smirking. McGonagall shakes her head, nothing, and I mean nothing gives a student the right to walk about the school at night, therefore as punishment for your actions, 50 points will be taken, she said, shocking the four students. F50. Harry stammered. Each and to ensure that it will never happen again, all 5 of you will be receiving detention, she stated. Malfoy nods until he does a double take. Excuse me, Professor, perhaps I've heard you wrong, I thought you said the 5 of us, he asked. McGonagall shakes her head. No, you heard me correctly, Mr. Malfoy, as honorable as your intentions were, you two were out of bed after hours. You will serve detentions with your fellow classmates, she stated. Harry, Ron, Naruto, and Hermione smirk at him while Draco seethes. The next night. The 5 students who were given detention are being led to Hagrid's hut by Filch. Filch talks about how detention back then was much worse, effectively scaring the kids. They soon arrive at Hagrid's hut as the half-giant comes out of the hut with a crossbow looking like he's crying. The reason why Hagrid was crying is because Dumbledore sent Norbert to live in a colony in Romania. Oh, for God's sake, pull yourself together, man, you're going into the forest after all, got to have your wits about you, Filch said rather annoyed. The forest. I thought first-year students weren't allowed to go into the forest, and they all heard a wolf howling, werewolves, Malfoy stated. Filch smirks. Oh, there's more than werewolves, lad, you can be sure of that, Filch said, scaring the boy further. Nighty-night, Filch said before leaving. Hagrid pulls himself together and soon leads the 5 into the forest. Naruto takes out his wand while the students look at him, but after a brief explanation, they find the idea to be reasonable, so they do the same. 20 minutes go by in the forest, and soon they come across a puddle of a silvery substance. Hagrid kneels down to inspect the substance. Harry asks what it is, and Hagrid responds by saying that's what they are here for. Hagrid explains that the substance is unicorn blood, and that he found a dead one a few weeks ago, so now this unicorn is likely injured. As Hagrid explained, Harry notices a large cloaked figure hiding in the trees. Naruto notices that something is up with Harry, but decides to leave it. After an explanation about the task, the 5 students split up. One group was Ron, Hermione, and Hagrid, while the other group was Harry, Naruto, and Draco along with Fang. Soon they went to find what they were looking for. But Harry, Naruto, and Draco. It's been about a half an hour since the 3 wizards and the boarhound went off to find the missing unicorn. Wait till my father hears about this is servant stuff, Malfoy complained. Oh, shut up, will ya, besides what are you going to tell him that you backed out like the little coward you are? Naruto mocked him. If anything, Draco, I would say that you are scared, Harry taunted as well. Malfoy scoffed, scared. PFFT right, Potter, come on Fang, he said walking faster. The group continued walking until they stumbled upon a disturbing scene. Fang growled, what is it, Fang? Harry asked, as both he and Naruto took out their wands. They walked over to see what was going on, only to stumble upon a dark cloaked figure feeding upon the blood of a dead unicorn. What the hell is that? Naruto whispered. Meanwhile in Naruto's mindscape. The 9-tailed fox was also sensing what was going on and decided to warn his jailer. Kid, I'm sensing something sinister here, the fox said to Naruto. Naruto was confused, what do you mean? He asked. Now is not the time to be worrying about that. Look, whatever it is, it's pretty hostile, so be ready to fight or flee. The fox warned his jailer. Naruto nods in affirmation. Back in the real world. Soon the dark-cloaked figure stops drinking and turns to see the young wizards as it snarled, with blood dripping out of its mouth. Harry gasped and was touching his scar as it burned. Naruto turns to his friend and asks what was wrong. Ah. Draco said as he fled with Fang, leaving the two wizards to fend for themselves as the dark-cloaked figure advanced on them. Expelliarmus. Naruto yells out, firing his spell at the figure with a violet stream of magic that manages to give the cloaked figure a decent amount of damage. He tries to get his friend to wake up. However, it seems that the figure gets up and this time it seems interested in Naruto as it starts advancing on Naruto. Naruto was prepared to defend his friend again until he heard a pair of hooves. What the Naruto said as a centaur came to their rescue and managed to scare off the figure. What was that thing you saved us from? Naruto said as Harry got up. The centaur looks back at the dead unicorn, a monstrous creature. It's a terrible crime to slay a unicorn. Drinking the blood will keep you alive, even if you are an inch from death, but at a terrible price. You have slain something so pure that the moment the blood touches your lips, you will have a half-life, a cursed life, the centaur explained. But who would choose to live like that? Naruto asked. Can you think of no one? The centaur retorted. Do you mean to say that the thing that killed the unicorn that was Voldemort? Harry asked worriedly. Naruto looks at Harry, trying to put two on two together as to why that creature went after the unicorn. Do you know what's hidden in the school at this very moment? The centaur asked. The Philosopher's Stone, both boys said as they heard Fang barking, with the two turning to see Hagrid, along with Ron, Hermione, and Draco. Are you guys alright? Hermione asked going up to the two. We're fine, Naruto said, assuring her. Hello there, Firenze. I see you've met young Harry Potter and Naruto Uzumaki. Are you alright there, Harry? The half-giant asked as the boy was still dealing with the headache he felt from the scar. The centaur nodded. This is where I leave you, Harry Potter. You're safe now. Good luck, the centaur said as he galloped away. Soon Naruto and Harry looked at each other, still taking in that information. They decided to tell Ron and Hermione about this information back at the common room. Chapter 17. The Plan. Gryffindor common room. Harry stood by the fireplace while the others sat around him as he explained the situation. Granted, Naruto knew about the situation, but the others didn't. You mean, you know who's out there, in the forest? Hermione asked in shock. Yup, but he's weak seeing as how he's living off of unicorns, as if he were a chupacabra feeding on goats, Naruto said, comparing Voldemort to a cryptid. They all look at Naruto after what he said. What? I like to read up on mythical creatures, and besides, from the way I mean, you know who is acting, he's pretty much a chupacabra, Naruto retorted. It all makes sense. The four turned to Harry. We've had it wrong. Snape didn't want the stone for himself, he wanted it for Voldemort, Harry said as both Ron and Hermione flinched other than Naruto at that name, but motioned for him to continue. But the stone, Voldemort will be powerful again, meaning he'll come back, Harry said, slightly shaken by that mere thought. If he comes back, you don't think he'll try to kill you? Ron asked. I think if he had a chance, he would have done so tonight, Harry said. Ron gulped. For real? He asked, looking pale. Hang on a minute, we're forgetting something here. Who's the one wizard Voldemort always feared? Hermione asked. Naruto responds. Dumbledore. Hermione nods. That's right, as long as Dumbledore is around, you're safe, you can't be touched, she assures Harry, which Harry is thankful for. A week later. Naruto and Hermione were walking around the castle talking about things besides the whole Philosopher's Stone thing. It's been a while since they have talked about anything other than the stone aside from talking about the finals or anything class related. Man, it's been a while since we talked about anything other than the stone, huh? Naruto asked. Yes, and I'm glad because between finals and the whole stone issue, I'm not sure which is more nerve-wracking, Hermione said. Naruto chuckles. Yeah, no kidding, but still it's nice to talk about something else, you know, he said. The brunette smiled and nodded at what he said. So I have to ask, what are your plans for the summer holiday? Hermione asked. Naruto thinks for a moment. You know, I'm not too sure exactly. Since the place I used to live hates me and I don't want to live there anymore, I might have to find a place here, so I might have to ask Dumbledore about some living arrangements. Naruto said. He added, also I would like to see the rest of the country, let alone the Muggle world, given that I couldn't get the chance at the beginning of my arrival here. Hermione smiled. That's a wonderful idea, Naruto. There's so many things to do and so many places to visit, such as museums, art galleries, London Bridge, Piccadilly Circus. Oh, there's so many to count, she said excitedly. Yeah, that would be nice, and maybe you could show me those places, if you want to, that is. Naruto asked. She smiled and nodded in agreement. Besides, if there's one thing I missed from my old home, it's that I miss ramen, Naruto said. Ramen? Why? The brunette asked. Naruto explained the personal story between him and ramen to Hermione, which saddens her, given that this food meant a lot to him growing up, but then she had an idea. Well, since you told me how much ramen meant to you growing up and I have never tried ramen, how about this? What if you do come to visit the Muggle world, you could introduce me to ramen, I can introduce you to some international food such as Italian or Indian, so what do you say? She asked. Naruto widened his eyes to that idea and nodded in agreement. Sure, here's to new experiences, then the boy said, and the two agreed to that plan. The two spend the rest of the day talking about the places where they grew up. A couple of months later. The four were walking down the corridor after taking their final exams. They say that the Hogwarts end of the year finals are said to be frightening, but I find them rather enjoyable, Hermione said happily. Oh, speak for yourself, you and Naruto have been studying non-stop for weeks, Ron said rather annoyed. Hey, if you want a perfect grade, you should study then, Naruto retorted. Yeah, well, Harry, you alright, mate? Ron said as notices his friend touching his scar. My scar keeps burning, Harry said holding his head in pain. This has happened before. Hermione asked as Harry shook his head, not like this, he stated. Naruto suggested seeing a nurse, but once again Harry shook his head. I think it's a warning, it means danger is coming. He rubs his head in pain as he sees Hagrid across the field, at his hut. That's when it hit him, of course. Harry yells out right before he runs towards the hut. Naruto, Hermione, and Ron shared a look before catching up to Harry. What is it, mate? Ron asked. Don't you find it odd that what Hagrid wanted was a dragon, and a stranger shows up and has one? Harry responded as he slowed down. The four see Hagrid over by the hut playing his flute. Think about it, how many people would just walk around carrying dragon eggs in their pockets? Why didn't I see this before? Harry said before reaching Hagrid. The three thought about what they have just heard and realized that no one would be dumb enough to carry a dragon egg with them in public, as that would create panic. Hey Hagrid, who gave you the dragon egg? Harry asked. Hagrid stops playing his flute and turns towards the group. What did he look like? Harry asked. Hagrid shrugged. I don't know, never seen his face, he kept his hood up, the half-giant said. The stranger though, you and him must have talked, Naruto interrogated. Well, he wanted to know what sort of creatures I looked after, so I told him after Fluffy, a dragon's gonna be no problem, the half-giant replied. And did the man seem interested in Fluffy? Harry asked. The half-giant nodded. Well, of course he was interested in Fluffy. How often do you come across a three-headed dog, even if you are in the trade? But I said, the trick with any beast is to know how to calm them, take Fluffy for example, just play him a bit of music and he falls straight to sleep, Hagrid explained nonchalantly before realizing, it was at this moment he knew he have kept up. The four students had their aha moment as of now. I shouldn't have said that, he said, before the four ran off. Where are you going? Wait. Hagrid called back. McGonagall's office. The four ran towards the hall and into the Elder Witch's class, surprising her from going over some papers. We need to see Professor Dumbledore immediately. Naruto said in an urgent voice. The Elder Witch shook her head. I'm afraid that Professor Dumbledore isn't here, as he has received an urgent owl from the Ministry of Magic and left immediately for London, she explained. He's gone. Now. But this is important. Harry said before looking around to see if anyone else is going to hear what he's about to say. It's about the Philosopher's Stone, Harry whispered, as McGonagall's eyes widened in shock as she looked at the four. How do you know about the stone? She asked. Someone's going to try and steal it, Harry said. She shakes her head. I don't know how you four found out about the stone, but I can assure you that it is perfectly well protected. Now would you please go back to your dorms? Quietly she ordered, making the four sigh and leave the class. As the four walked around the hall, Harry said that was no stranger Hagrid met at the village, it was Snape, which means he knows how to get past Fluffy. And with Dumbledore gone, Hermione says as Snape appears behind them. Good afternoon, he said, making the four jump. Now, what would four young Gryffindors such as yourselves be doing inside on a day like this? He asked. Hermione and Ron stammered, not knowing what to say. You want to be careful, people will think you are up to something, he said as Harry glares at him, while Naruto observes the man's face to see any signs of him being rather secretive. Snape shook his head and soon left. Now what do we do? Hermione asked. We go down the trapdoor tonight, Harry declared, with the rest of the squad agreeing with the plan. Chapter 18. The Hunt for the Stone. Naruto wakes up and stood in front of his bed as he quickly and quietly switches from his PJs to his classic orange and blue jumpsuit, basically the outfit he wore the majority of Part I, and some flashbacks in Part 2, as he puts on his shinobi sandals and strapped his wand bracer on his forearm. Cage looks at his master in confusion, but surprisingly doesn't caw, probably indicating the crow knows what's going to happen. Naruto soon leaves the dorm room quietly. Gryffindor common room. The four wizards meet up as Harry, Ron, and Hermione are now in their casual outfits. Everyone ready? Harry asked. They nodded and were about to leave until they heard a croak. The group turned to see Neville's toad. Trevor, Ron whispered. The toad croaks as Naruto motions for it to be quiet. Trevor shh. Go, you shouldn't be here, Naruto whispered. Neither should you. They watched as Neville walked from around a chair. You're sneaking out again, aren't you? Neville asked. Harry tried to reason with him. Now listen, Neville, we're trying to. He was cut off by Neville. No. I won't let you. Why, you'll get Gryffindor in trouble again. He stated as the group sighed, knowing that he was right, that is if they got caught or if he snitched on them. Naruto also tried to reason with the boy, but like Harry he too got cut off by the boy. No, I'll fight you if I have to, he stated as he got into a fighting stance. Hermione rubs her forehead in frustration as they're wasting time. Neville, I'm really sorry about this, she said as she pointed her wand at him. Petrificus totalis. She said, zapping Neville as he straightened up and fell frozen to the ground. The three boys look at Neville and at each other. You're scary sometimes, you know that. Brilliant, but scary, Ron stated as they all walked past the frozen boy, with Hermione muttering sorry as they passed. Soon the four were under Harry's invisible cloak, to the third floor. Naruto proclaimed. Third floor. The squad had just arrived at the third floor corridor, and as Hermione unlocked the locked door, they came across Fluffy, except he was asleep. The dog was asleep due to a symphony that was being played across the room, as Harry noticed a harp by the dog's side that was being played by itself. Snape's already been here, he's put a spell on the harp, he whispers as they approach the dog. Fluffy coughs a little. Ron inhaled the fumes of the dog's breath and is looking rather sick. Ugh, it's got horrible breath, he states with disgust. Naruto, Harry, and Hermione stare at the trapdoor. Well, it looks like we're going to have to move its paw, otherwise we won't be able to get through, Naruto explained. What? Ron said quietly, not to wake the beast up. Come on, Harry said, as they all including Ron grabbed the paw. They pushed the paw, despite how heavy it is, away until the doorway was accessible. They pull the door open. I'll go first, don't follow until I give you the signal. If anything bad happens, save yourselves, Harry explained. Guys, doesn't it seem a bit quiet? Naruto asked, as they all raised their heads to see that the harp stopped playing. Ron felt something wet and slimy hit his shoulder. Yuck. Ugh. He stated in disgust as he wiped what appeared to be drool. The squad turned to see Fluffy looking at them pissed off. Jump. Harry yells as the beast started barking and thrashing, and the four dropped down the doorway as Fluffy tried to go after them, but its head wouldn't fit the doorway, so instead it just barked. Ugh, is everyone alright? Naruto asked as he checked to see where they were. Think so, they all responded. Luckily this plant thing was here, that would have been a nasty fall, the retard stated looking at the rope-like vine. All of a sudden the vines wrapped everyone up. What is this? Ron shouted as they all struggled to get loose. The brunette examines the plant. Everyone stop moving. This is Devil's Snare, you have to relax or else it will kill you faster. She explained. Kill us faster. Oh, now I can relax. Ron retorted sarcastically. The brunette only smiles before the vines loosen their grip on her and suck her down. Hermione. The three boys shouted. Now what are we gonna do? Ron cried. Just relax. They heard the witch shout. Hermione, where are you? Naruto shouted. Do what I say. Trust me. She said from below. Here goes nothing, Naruto states as he relaxes, allowing the vines to loosen their grip on him and suck him down, with Harry following next. Nice of you to join us, the brunette said with a smile as both she and Naruto helped Harry up. However, Ron is still in a bind as he can't relax. He's not relaxing, isn't he? Hermione said rhetorically. Soon a vine covers Ron's mouth. We've got to do something. Hermione shouts. Like what? The brunette tried to think of something until Naruto came up with an idea. Hey Hermione, we studied these things in herbology, right? What's the one thing it hates? He asked. That's when it clicked on her. That's right. Devil's Snare hates sunlight. She stated as she pointed her wand at the plant. Lumo solemn. She said, shooting a beam of light at the plant, making the plant recoil and flail around until it dropped Ron flat on the ground face first. Harry and Naruto help him up, asking him if he's okay, to which he nods. Yeah, phew, lucky we didn't panic, he said, scratching the back of his head sheepishly as they comically fell over from what they just heard. Lucky those two pay attention in class, Harry said before they continued onward. The squad trekked through the corridors until they came across an entrance, but they were stopped as that door needed a key and the Alohomora spell wouldn't work on that door. They heard flapping sounds, so they looked up, only to see golden birds, but in actuality they were flying keys. Ugh, what are we gonna do? There must be thousands of keys up there. The brunette stated in frustration as she squinted her eyes at the winged keys. Naruto suggested finding a big old-fashioned one, and soon Harry and Ron joined in on the search, spending several minutes until they found the key. It was an old key, with a broken wing, and as Harry found it, he saw a flying broomstick, and that's when it clicked for him. What's up, Harry? Naruto asked, grabbing everyone's attention. It's too simple, Harry states. Ron got the message. Oh, go on, Harry. If Snape can catch it on that broomstick, so could you. You're the youngest seeker of the century. He encouraged. Harry nods and proceeds to fly on the broom. They soon heard the keys give out a sound close to a large flap as the keys started flying towards Harry. Harry made a bunch of twists and turns avoiding the horde of keys while still trying to grab the main one. He managed to grab the one they were looking for, catch. He yells out, throwing the main key to Hermione for her to catch and open the door. She unlocks the door, allowing the two boys in before Harry zooms through the door while the other keys give chase. The witch shuts the door as the keys slam into it. After a moment of rest, they continued onwards. The four soon arrived into another room that looked normal, except for the fact that there's a long bridge with no railing across the room over a large death trap and a window that's showing the moonlight. The room looks as if it belonged to a Soulsborne type of video game, given how a bridge like that is a red flag for danger. Anyways, as the four were about to cross that bridge, Naruto stops them. "Something's wrong, I can feel it," the blonde said cautiously. "What do you mean?" "It's just a bridge," Ron said. Naruto shakes his head. "I don't know guys, but keep your wands at hand in case," he said. So the group brought out their wands and crossed that bridge only to find the next challenge. This challenge was to fight a dark silhouette of themselves, except that it was a one-on-one duel. Naruto steps onto the challenge while the others look at him as if he were insane. Naruto assures them that he'll be fine as he gets ready to face his shadow. The shadow was a perfect silhouette of himself, except for the fact that it has red eyes. The two fought, shooting all the strongest spells at each other to see who would go down first. "Expelliarmus!" Naruto shouts, shooting that spell at the shadow, but the shadow deflects it with a Protego spell. Soon the shadow shoots an attack spell, only for Naruto to defend again. The two are going at it though it seems Naruto is gaining somewhat of an advantage. "You got this, Naruto," Harry shouts. "We believe in you." Hermione cheered. "Don't give up," Ron encouraged. The blonde grips his wand hard, his friends are depending on him, so he can't give up. He strikes hard and fast with all the spells he can conjure, but it seems that the shadow counters by firing the strongest amount of magic it can shoot. Naruto got hit and was sent tumbling like a ragdoll. His friends look at him with shock as they see him look battle damaged from his body to his clothes. Naruto struggles to get up as he tries to force himself to push through. "I can't give up, I have to protect them," he said almost at his limit. "Naruto, don't, it's too strong." Hermione pleads along with Harry and Ron. To their horror, they see the shadow ready to finish off Naruto, but something shocking happens. Hermione runs to protect Naruto from that attack, all the while Harry and Ron screamed at what was going on. Naruto looks in horror as his life flashes before his eyes, his best friend was about to be on the way of the attack. "No, I can't let her get in the way of that. No, I can't let her be taken like this, I can't. I can't." Within Naruto's mindscape the Nine Tails watches what is happening. "I swear this kid is going to be the death of me one day, you owe me for this one," the fox mumbled, not wanting his host to die, let alone that friend of his he keeps talking about. Hermione was at the center range of the shadow's attack. As she closes her eyes, her thoughts were that if this is how she's going to die, she's going to die at least knowing she saved Naruto and helped him and Harry stop Snape from stealing the stone. Fortunately, death wasn't her fate as she was protected by that blast from something or rather someone. She opens her eyes to see that it was Naruto who protected her. The others were shocked as well, but what really shocked them was how Naruto appeared. Naruto appears to be standing, shielding Hermione as he casted the Protego spell. However, it appears that he was covered in a reddish-orange shroud with one tail and two ears. His hair appears more wild as his eyes went from blue to red slitted eyes, with his nails becoming claws and teeth becoming fangs. He lets out a feral growl as he shields his friend from that attack. "You will not take them from me." Naruto yells out hatefully at the shadow as he charges all of his Nine Tails chakra to his wand, firing spells infused with his chakra to become strong enough to overpower the shadow. The silhouette was weakened and soon faded away like embers. The others rushed over to Naruto to see if he was okay as he reverted back to normal and collapsed from exhaustion. Luckily he was still breathing as the others were amazed by what just happened. "That was bloody awesome," Ron said as Harry agreed. While Hermione was glad Naruto was okay and saved her, she had some questions to ask, but figured now was not the time after what happened and what is currently going on. "You guys go on ahead, I'll catch up," Naruto said, surprising them. What are you saying? We're not just going to leave you here," the brunette stated. "Relax, I'll catch up, please let me rest a bit," Naruto requested tiredly. Harry nodded, given that the blonde had done enough. "Come on guys, the longer we stay here, the closer Snape gets to the stone," Harry said. Ron and Hermione were reluctant at first, but agreed. After crossing the bridge, they moved onwards. The three soon arrive at a new room and at first it looked like a graveyard when in reality it was a chessboard. Their final challenge was to beat the other chess pieces to enter the door. Given how Ron was a chess master in the squad, he was the one to showcase his talents. The game begins as each side of the board sends in their chess piece to take out the others. As the game continues, Ron refuses to use either Harry or Hermione as his pieces get smashed along with the other side's pieces. Castle T4. Gets smashed. Pawn to C3. Also gets destroyed. The three wince at the carnage inflicted by the White Queen before it ends its phase. Harry notices what is going to happen as he gets Hermione's attention. This is it. This is the endgame. You understand what's going to happen, right Harry? Once I make my move, the Queen will strike me down and you'll be able to check the king, Ron said. Harry pleads with Ron not to do this, while Hermione is confused. She learns that Ron is going to sacrifice himself, which shocks her. No Ron. There has to be another way we can do this. She pleaded. Ron turned to his friends, do you want to stop Snape or not? Harry, it has to be you, I know it. Not me, not Naruto, not Hermione, you. He points out. Harry was reluctant but agreed nonetheless. Ron makes his sacrifice. Knight to H3, he said as the piece moved to that location. Jack, Ron said as he prepared to be struck down by the Queen, and when the piece got smashed Ron was knocked down. Ron. The two yelled. Just before Ron was sent to the ground, he was levitating and it turns out that Naruto was the one to be levitating him. Right as Harry and Hermione were to greet Naruto, tells them to stop since the game has to finish. They nod and so Harry goes up to the king and declares checkmate, making them win. The two go up to ask how Naruto levitated Ron and he said he levitated his clothes nonchalantly, making them sweat drop. Harry shakes his head, right listen, take care of Ron, go to the owlery and send Dumbledore a message Ron's right I have to go on he said as he got up and went to see this through the end. You'll be okay Harry, you're a great wizard, you really are Hermione stated. Not as good as you two, he said. The two smiled, Harry books, smarts and skills have nothing to do with it, there are more important things, friendship and bravery, Naruto stated as he held out his hand while boosting Harry's confidence. The two shook hands and right before he left, Harry he turned to see Hermione, be careful she said, as the boy nodded and continued towards the final room. Naruto carried Ron over his shoulder, lead the way Hermione he said as she nodded and headed back to the way they came from. Chapter 19. The Truth. With Harry. Harry goes down a long staircase and he enters an empty room with pillars around it, but what shocks him is that in the center of the room stood a familiar window and a man with a turban. Harry walks up further and as he does so his scar burns, why you? He said in shock. The man turned around revealing himself to be Professor Quirrell. No, it can't be Snape, he was the one Harry said with wide eyes. Quirrell smirked, yes he does seem like the type doesn't he? Next to me who would suspect, poor STST stuttering Professor Quirrell he mocked. But, that day, during the Quidditch match, Snape tried to kill me he said. Quirrell scoffed at the boy's stupidity, no dear boy, I tried to kill you. And trust me, hadn't Snape's cloak had not caught on fire, I would have succeeded, even with Snape muttering his little counter curse he snarled. Harry was even more shocked, Snape tried to save me? He asked. I knew you were a danger right from the start, especially after Halloween Quirrell muttered. Then you were the one that let the troll in. Harry now realizing what happened. Very good Potter, yes, Snape unfortunately wasn't a fool. While everyone left for the dungeons, Snape tailed me on the third floor and he of course never trusted me again. He rarely left me alone Quirrell stated before turning his head back, causing the boy's scar to hurt. Quirrell was talking to himself in the mirror trying to find how to get the stone until a voice says use the boy as both Quirrell and Harry hear it. Quirrell commands Harry to come forth to look at the mirror, which he does hesitatingly. Harry looks at the mirror and sees himself and his parents, but what was shocking was that the reflection has the stone in his pocket but tells the real Harry to keep quiet. Quirrell demands to hear what Harry saw in the mirror, so Harry decided to lie, I'm shaking hands with Dumbledore, I just won the house cup he stated. The voice however knew that was a lie and demanded to speak to the boy, although Quirrell was unsure, but nevertheless complied. Harry gasps in shock as Quirrell finally unwraps his turban to reveal a snake-like face behind his head. Voldemort, the boy whispered. Yes, you see what I have become. You see what I must do to survive. To live off of this pathetic human body like a parasite while feeding on unicorn blood to sustain me, but alas I cannot really have a body of my own, but there's something that can help me, something so convenient, like in your pocket Voldemort stated. The boy tried to run away, but the room was surrounded by fire. Voldemort attempts to coerce Harry to join him and even offer eternal life, but Harry refuses. Haha, bravery, your parents had it too tell me would you like to see them again? Voldemort offers to help revive them as Harry's parents appear in the mirror's reflection. Harry was tempted at first, but in the end refuses, and Voldemort orders his host to kill him. Both Harry and Quirrell fight each other almost to the death as they use spells such as Expelliarmus and Protego to either attack or defend. Soon Quirrell got the upper hand and was strangling Harry, and as Harry almost lost his breath, he heard a voice you will not harm my son. Harry wonders if that voice belonged to his mother as Quirrell lets go of Harry due to him burning. Ah! Quirrell screamed in agony as his hand burned, yet he was still ordered by Voldemort to grab the stone. Quirrell tried to grab the stone, but Harry grabbed his face, effectively burning the man until he was reduced to ash. After catching his breath, Harry went to grab the stone and pocket it until he heard a strange sound. He turns to see a black cloud with Voldemort's face on it. Ah! They both yelled as the cloud passed through, while Harry was knocked out. Hospital wing. Harry wakes up to see his friends by his side. He put on his glasses and smiled at them. They congratulated Harry for his success. It wasn't until Professor Dumbledore arrived to see the group. "Ah, tokens from your admirers?" he asked. "Admirers?" Harry asked before he turned to see a mountain of get-well cards, candy, and balloons, along with a special gift from a certain blonde female Slytherin. Harry blushed at that gift, while Naruto and the others snickered at his own expense. "Yeah, Harry, what happened down there in the dungeon between you and Quirrell was a secret, so basically everyone knows," Naruto explained nonchalantly, making Harry sweat drop, but smiled nevertheless. After a brief little banter, things became serious as Harry asked about the stone. Dumbledore decided to explain that the stone was destroyed and it was probably for the best, which shocked the group. He elaborated by saying that Flamel wanted the stone to be destroyed, so settled his affairs before passing over. Harry also asked about how he got the stone, and so Dumbledore explained that the stone was meant for someone to find it, but not use it. Basically, in simple terms, even if a person were to get the stone, they can't use it. Since the stone is gone, does that mean Voldemort will come back? Harry asked. Dumbledore shook his head. "I'm afraid there are other ways in which he may return." "Harry, do you know why Professor Quirrell couldn't bear to touch you?" he asked, receiving a no from the boy. Dumbledore explained, "It was because of your mother, she sacrificed her life for you, and that kind of act leaves a mark," he states. They watch as Harry touches his scar. Dumbledore chuckled. "No, not that kind of mark, this kind of mark cannot be seen, it lives in your very skin," he said. Harry asks what it is, and Dumbledore responds, "It's love." After Dumbledore left after trying a really nasty multi-flavored colored bean, this is where things climax. In Naruto's head he was thinking, "You can do this. You can do this," as he said in his head. The fox decided to interrupt. "Kid, just tell them already, you'll be fine," he said, very irritated. "Guys, I have something to tell you about what happened last night along with Halloween," Naruto said. Everybody's attention was towards the blonde. They motioned for him to continue. "Before I begin to explain those powers, you need to know the full truth about myself." The three were shocked, but decided to hear Naruto out. He explains about how he is from a parallel universe and what his life was like back home. Granted, they knew since he told bits and pieces of it, but they were shocked when they heard the real complete story as it feels more messed up. As he finished going over the whole jumping from his universe to this universe, he finally explains why he was hated back home, as he has finally discovered the truth here. He explained about the fox and what he was, which is the holder of the tailed beast, a Jinchuriki. After this explanation, the group couldn't even comprehend what they had just heard. On one hand, it feels far-fetched as his backstory felt like a myth, but then again, most wizards don't have the exact kind of powers Naruto holds, so they choose to believe him. "I understand if you guys don't want to be my friend anymore, granted I'm used to this my whole entire childhood. Probably for the best cause I almost got you guys hurt. But I want to say that you guys were the best thing that ever happened to me, and I'm eternally grateful for it," Naruto said softly as he closed his eyes, ready to hear them call him a freak or declare that they aren't friends anymore, even though it pains his heart. It was silent until Hermione decided to break that silence. "Do you really expect me to run and hate you? I would never do that, as you're my best friend and a great person. Just because you hold a monster inside you doesn't make you a monster. You have been protecting people ever since you were a baby, so in a way you're a hero, and if the people from your home can't see that, then they don't deserve you," she said softly while placing a hand on his shoulder. Naruto was shocked. His best friend had just accepted him despite him holding the 9 tails. He looks to his other friends, as Harry said, "Remember what I said back in the train, we'll always be friends no matter what, and I intend to keep it that way. Besides, you and I aren't so different," Harry assures him. Ron decided to add in, "Yeah mate, you saved our lives, and besides you're still you, so there's no problem here." "Oh, and you're a fellow Gryffindor like us, so we don't leave anyone behind," Ron declared. Naruto was moved to tears. "They accepted me, even with the 9 tails and all," he thought as he began to cry. Hermione wrapped him in a hug and comforted him as both Harry and Ron placed a hand on his shoulder. Naruto had finally stopped crying and looked at his friends. "Thank you guys so much, you have no idea what it feels like to get this off my chest. Dumbledore and the teachers knew ever since they learned about my predicament and accepted me, but you guys didn't know as much, and yet you still accepted me," he said with a large smile on his face. You're right guys, if the people of my home won't accept me as a person or as a wizard, then they don't deserve me, but I vow to make my own destiny and protect the ones I love, Naruto said with a fire in his eyes. My old dream was to become the Hokage of my village, but now my new dream is to surpass Dumbledore and become the greatest wizard alive and make my parents who died for me proud, Naruto said as he held out his hand. And we will be right there beside you, every step of the way so you aren't alone on this journey, Hermione said with a smile as she placed her hand on top of his. Since you helped me stop Voldemort from getting the stone, I'll be with you till the end of the line, Harry said as he placed his hand on top of theirs. As long as you got my back, I got your back as well so we're all in this together, Ron said as he too placed his hands on top of theirs. This is the moment where the bonds of the squad will never break, for once Naruto finally feels at peace with himself. Chapter 20. A Toad's Offer. After Naruto told his friends the truth about himself and was accepted by them, never had the boy felt the pleasure of a burden being dropped. As the last week of school comes to a start, despite knowing that their house has the lowest points, it didn't matter to him as he knew that at least the school was safe from a threat like Quirrell. However, as much as Naruto needed the rest, fate still had plans for him as he was sent to meet the Sage of Six Paths in his dream. Other plane of existence. Naruto wakes up to see Hagoromo Otsutsuki looking at him as he was the one to contact the boy in this plane of existence. "Ah, we meet again Naruto, tell me how was your time here?" Hagoromo asked the boy. "It was never any better, as I have found a home in this universe and made some of the best relationships I could ever ask for, so I'm glad you sent me here," Naruto said gratefully. Hagoromo smiled but then became serious, "As much as it brings me joy that you're liking this realm, I'm afraid we have other important things to talk about," the sage said with uttermost seriousness. Naruto can tell that this is serious as he felt literal chills in his body from what he heard. "You may have helped someone like yourself in this quest, but I believe things are going to get much more difficult as the stakes will soon get higher," the sage said. "What do you mean?" asked Naruto, genuinely confused. "What I'm saying is that as the years go by, there'll be new threats to face along with enemies that will define you, so I ask that you be ready to face your adversaries and become the peacemaker for this world," Hagoromo said. "How can I exactly, I'm just a boy with a tailed beast inside me, who's only training to be a wizard," Naruto asked. "But you are more than a wizard Naruto, so I can't believe I'm saying this, but for you to get stronger, you must regain your knowledge as a shinobi and learn to manifest your chakra," the sage said. This shocks Naruto. "I swore to never become a shinobi after what the leaf did to me as a child, and besides how am I going to even regain my skills as a shinobi, since there aren't any people in this world proficient in chakra?" the boy asked, rather annoyed. That's when Hagoromo dropped the biggest news. "Don't worry as within the coming days or so, I'll be sending you some help along the way to make you reach your true potential, for I truly believe you will make a difference in this world." "You really think so?" the boy asks, to which the sage nods. After Naruto accepts the news, he is soon sent back to reality as Hagoromo plans to send some help along the way. Meanwhile in Naruto's realm. A middle-aged man with white spiky hair dressed as a kabuki actor walks around the forest searching for something, or rather someone. The man in question was Jiraiya the Toad Sage. Jiraiya has been searching for Naruto for almost a year ever since the boy's disappearance. Granted he was doing so because of how the boy was his godson and more importantly, the fabled child of prophecy. When he heard of Naruto's disappearance he returned to the village in a heartbeat, but the damage was already done as the village was celebrating his godson's so-called disappearance or death. Due to this news, he blamed his old sensei, the third Hokage, for not doing enough, as such the relationship between student and teacher was strained at the moment. Jiraiya keeps searching for Naruto when all of a sudden he is teleported to another plane of existence. What the Jiraiya uttered as he looked around only to see what he thought he was seeing. It was the Sage of Six Paths, in the flesh. "Hello Jiraiya, I believe we have much to discuss," said the sage as he explained about where Naruto was and what he was doing. Jiraiya was glad that his godson survived, but shocked that Naruto chose a different profession, but then again he can't blame him for doing that. After that explanation, the sage tells Jiraiya of what he will do to help Naruto, to which he gladly accepts as he wanted to be there for his godson in the beginning, but he couldn't, so this was his redemption. As such the sage soon sent Jiraiya to the realm Naruto was in. Hogwarts' last day of school. Naruto and his friends were spending time together right before they left to go their separate ways. Their house just won the house cup, beating Slytherin, so they were celebrating. "So basically you're staying in the castle?" Ron asked Naruto as he nodded. "Yup, I talked with Dumbledore about my situation, and as such he's allowing me to stay in the castle for the time being, so yeah I'm already at home," Naruto explained. The three were saddened that they couldn't be with him around the summer, but he assured them that he'll see them again. And so they all hugged and left for the train, while Naruto stayed at the castle. He sighs sadly as the train leaves, so he heads for the castle, since Dumbledore called him to discuss something. Dumbledore's office. Naruto enters the office to see Dumbledore talking to a man with white spiky hair dressed like a kabuki actor. "Professor Dumbledore, you called me?" Naruto asked. "Ah, Naruto, you have arrived. There's someone I would like you to meet as he too is from the world you came from," Dumbledore said, which shocks the boy as he thinks this is what the Sage of Six Paths meant when he said he will send and help. The boy turns to the white-haired man. "Who are you?" Naruto asked. The white-haired man introduces himself. "My name is Jiraiya, and I'm one of the 3 legendary Sannin," he said in a serious tone rather than his usual boisterous tone, given the boy was unsure of who he is. Naruto was skeptical and asked, "How do I know you're not playing with me?" Jiraiya responds, "Kid, I know who you are and what is sealed inside you, and I'm well aware of the fact that you're a wizard by now instead of a shinobi. Granted, I'm still willing to train you if you do accept." Naruto thinks for a moment and asks, "How will you train me?" Jiraiya smirked, "I'll be teaching you proper fighting techniques, how to utilize your chakra if your magic is limited, and especially ninjutsu, so what do you say?" he asked. Naruto thinks for a moment, wanting the fox's opinion inside his head. "What do you think?" he asked. The fox was listening in on the conversation. "Even though I don't like most humans in general, I would say you should take this offer, as if you want to utilize my power, prove your worth by earning this power as it doesn't come cheap," the fox said. Naruto nods. "Okay then, I trust you'll be there to help me to become the strongest, got it?" he said as he held out his hand. Jiraiya nods and shakes the boy's hand to seal the deal. "When do we begin training?" Naruto asked. "Your training starts next week, so first settle any affairs you have this week," Jiraiya said. "Now that is out of the way, is there anything else I can help you with?" Dumbledore asked as Naruto turned to the old man with an idea. "Well, there's this one thing," Naruto said as he explained his plan. London afternoon. Naruto had just arrived in London. Since he went through the Flu network, the blonde was in the pub and went to Diagon Alley and then to Gringotts. He was going to send a note to the goblins about exchanging his galleons for some pounds. When he went to the bank, he was surprised to learn that an account was made for him under his name and he was pretty loaded in terms of galleons. What was even shocking was that his benefactor for the account was none other than Jiraiya, not knowing that Hagoromo was the one to send all of Naruto's inheritance to this world. He exchanged some galleons for pounds and left the wizarding world to explore London. The first thing he did before meeting up with his friend to explore London was to buy some muggle clothes. He bought an orange t-shirt, blue jeans, and a pair of Nike Dunks, along with some other clothes in his newly purchased satchel. After purchasing his new clothes, he heads off for the station. He arrived at King's Cross to wait for his friends. Soon the 3 arrive and they are surprised to see Naruto there as he sees them and waves hello. Naruto. Hermione calls out as she, Harry, and Ron run up to him for a group hug. They asked what he was doing here, not that they were happy he was here, as he explains how he's going to be training with Jiraiya next week, so he decided to take up Hermione's offer and try to get a tour of the city from her. She nods and the two walk to meet her parents after saying goodbye to Harry and Ron. "Mom, Dad, this is Naruto. My best friend," she said, presenting her blonde friend. Naruto smiled. "Hello, it's nice to meet you," he said. They smiled and also said the same as well. Since they learned that Naruto was mostly going to stay in the castle the remainder of the summer and that he's visiting London for a week, they offered him to stay at their place for the week and take a tour of the city, which Naruto gladly accepted. Oh, how this is going to be one perfect summer for him. The end. What if Naruto was Sorcerer Wizard Harry Potter? End here, and thanks for watching my video till the end.